5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios, this is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
The Affordable Care Act is not just a website. It's much more. For the vast majority of Americans, for 85% of Americans who already have health insurance through your employer or Medicare or Medicaid, you don't need to sign up for coverage through a website at all. You've already got coverage. What the Affordable Care Act does for you is to provide you with new benefits and protections that have been in place for some time. You may not know it, but you're already benefiting from these provisions in the law.
Yeah, you idiots out there, you just don't get it. Wake up, America. Obamacare is more than a website. Yeah, it's a telephone, too. It's a telephone. And you could go in person to sign up. Welcome to the Steve Malzberg Show, ladies and gentlemen. As we kick off on a Monday, we have, you talk about a show of show, my friends. Joe Franklin. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Some of you don't. Mark O'Mara will join us momentarily. He is proposing legislation that will, if he has his way, hold parents responsible for cyberbullies. That's right. If your kid's a cyberbullier and some other kid kills himself as a result, God forbid, you, the parent of the cyberbullier, could be held legally responsible under Mark O'Mara's plan. He, of course, the attorney for George Zimmerman in the Zimmerman trial. We're also going to talk to Bill Gertz. Sally Cohn, Fox News and Daily Beast contributor, will be here to talk Obamacare and more. We're going to talk to Ann Coulter, Tom DeLay, of course, the former congressman for the 22nd District of Texas, former House Majority Leader, and Ben Smith, former Navy SEAL, who says that the government is getting ready for martial law. So all that is ahead. But you heard Obama. He was surrounded by 13 people in the Rose Garden. Turns out only 3 of those 13 people, according to the Daily Caller, have actually signed up for Obamacare. We were led to believe that all those people on the podium with him or in the Rose Garden with him were, had managed to sign up. And one woman standing behind him almost fainted. She wobbled, and the guy caught her. The guy standing behind her caught her. It always happens at Obama speeches or rallies or pep rallies or whatever. These women, they just can't take it. He's so exciting. And here's more of what Barack Obama had to say. Next Obama cut.
But the problem has been that the website that's supposed to make it easy to apply for and purchase the insurance is not working the way it should for everybody. And there's no sugarcoating it. The website has been too slow. People have been getting stuck during the application process. And I think it's fair to say that nobody's more frustrated by that than I am. Precisely because the product is good. I want the cash registers to work.
Oh.
I want the checkout lines to be smooth. So I want people to be able to get this great product. And there's no excuse for the problems. And these problems are getting fixed.
Yeah, as we speak. There are reports today that they might have to fix 5 million lines of whatever it's called, and it could take months. Getting fixed. Don't you worry about it. No one's madder than me. As a matter of fact, when I'm on the golf course, it's wrecking my game. It's all I can think about. When I'm watching basketball, football, baseball, it's on my mind. Can't enjoy the game. So don't think I'm not worried. No one's more worried than me about this. Now he's a businessman. He wants the cash registers to ching and cling, and he wants the lines. He wants to sell the product. Businessman Obama, Dr. Obama, you name it, Surgeon Obama. Oh, man. Now, one person that he couldn't bamboozle into this Obamacare sales effort, apparently, is Oprah. That's right, Oprah. Newsbusters has reported, many Hollywood stars has volunteered their services to help sell Obamacare. But they have a story that cites an article in the New York Post. The woman who named Barack Obama the one, Oprah Winfrey, is not among them. Ed Klein claimed last summer Oprah's point woman Valerie Jarrett phoned Winfrey to invite her, Obama's point woman, phoned Winfrey to invite her to help participate with other celebrities, including Amy Poehler, Jennifer Hudson, Alicia Keys, to meet with the president, discuss how they can help launch his health care. And Winfrey apparently said, "Nyet." I say "nyet" because of our little great relationship we have with Russia. Our good friends, the Russians and Putin and all that. All right, we're coming back, folks. Mark O'Mara, Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Hi, this is Dick Morris. Obamacare is taking full effect this year with over 15,000 pages of regulations. You need to know how this law affects you. That's why you should get your copy of Obamacare's Survival Guide. It's easy to read and the best guide to the new law. Even if you're currently insured or a senior on Medicare or a business owner, a medical professional, or really any citizen, you need the Obamacare Survival Guide. In it, you'll find about hidden taxes, fees, and fines, including a 40% tax on some health plans. I warned you about Obamacare. It's rationing, Medicare cuts, and will trigger doctor shortages. Now the Obamacare Survival Guide gives you the simple steps to protect your family.
Get the Obamacare Survival Guide at bookstores everywhere. It's already an Amazon bestseller. Or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 today. Go to Obamacare311.com. Obamacare311.com. That's Obamacare311.com.
In 2013, half of your friends, family, and neighbors may lose their jobs, all while you are robbed of 90% of your life savings, investments, and home's value. Controversial economist Robert Wiedemer, who was the only expert to predict the recession, has released a startling video with shocking evidence that the powers that be have tried to ban. But that hasn't stopped 50 million people from getting the truth. Watch it at aftbook.com. That's aftbook.com.
What is Lignet? Lignet is knowledge. Lignet is power. Lignet is global. Top-level officials, U.S. intelligence officers, national security advisors, foreign operatives, all reporting directly to you. What is Lignet? Lignet is confidential. Lignet is sensitive. Lignet is security. What is Lignet? They're the ones taking the world's pulse. If you're not in the know, you're not on Lignet.com. You've been briefed.
I used to sleep like a baby. Now I have to get up in the middle of the night just to go to the bathroom. And not just once.
Men, if you suffer from frequent urination, the inability to empty your bladder, a hesitant urine stream, or leaking due to an aging prostate, listen to this. Renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein believes this does not need to be an inevitable part of aging. After extensive research, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Prostate Revive, the dietary supplement specifically formulated to help improve and sustain normal prostate function. And now you can receive a 30-day supply of Prostate Revive. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. For complete details, visit prostaterevive.com/offer. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate. Learn how you can try Prostate Revive for 30 days at prostaterevive.com/offer. Hurry, limited time offer. That's prostaterevive.com/offer.
150 million people suffer from headaches. All you want is for the pounding in your head to stop. Migralex stops the pounding. Migralex was developed by a neurologist and founder of the New York Headache Center.
I'm neurologist Dr. Alex Malzberg. After studying and researching the human brain for 25 years, I've developed Migralex, which eliminates pounding headaches. It works for my patients, and I'm so convinced it will work for you. I don't just guarantee it, I put my name on it.
Dr. Malzberg's Migralex gets rid of headaches fast without harsh caffeine, sodium, or preservatives.
Migralex works unbelievably fast, and it's gentle on my stomach.
Find out how to get your free bottle of Migralex. Call 800-532-2967. Plus, if you're one of the first 100 callers, you'll also receive the Migralex Quick Tips to Headache Relief absolutely free. That's 800-532-2967. Or go to migralexrelief.com. MIGRALEX relief.com. Or call 800-532-2967.
can you find the Steve Malzberg Show? Everywhere. From your smartphone to satellite radio to Newsmax Live TV to Roku, we have you covered. Here is Steve Malzberg.
And welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. And as promised, we're joined by famed defense attorney Mark O'Mara, who's also CNN contributor. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Great, Steve. How you doing? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to talk to you. It's been a while since the aftermath of the Zimmerman case. All right, so you have stirred quite a hornet's nest. And I guess, I don't know, you'll tell me if it was in response to this Florida girl who committed suicide after she was bullied by two girls ages 12 and 14. And then the Florida sheriff started investigating the parents, or of at least one of those girls, and said he may arrest the parents. You wrote a piece on CNN.com, and you talked about writing legislation that would hold parents liable in cases of cyberbullying. Explain your position.
Well, it started because I've got an outreach program that I've had for a few months now, trying to reach out into the school systems and the families and the churches to try and help with juvenile kids going through the system, to try and sort of get a hold of them early on and move them out. So that's always been sort of a focus of mine. But when this case came up, it just sort of really came to the forefront how our kids, the ones that we're raising, the generation that we're raising, just seem to be so desensitized to what they're doing. I mean, in a case like this, it's horrible that for 11 months, those two girls were bullying or stalking this girl online and in person. But almost worse than the 11 months, the way I looked at it, was when the girl posted that about the death, when she says, yes, I know I bullied her, I don't care, and used an even more...
Right, she used some curse words, yeah.
Yeah, it was just, I looked at that and I said, how can a 14-year-old be that desensitized, that uncaring, that another child dies and she cares that little? So it really just sort of hit me, and I think we have to start looking to the only place that we can, the family, to try and make them more responsible.
All right, and what would you have? How would you have parents punished? In other words, let's look at a case exactly like this one. How would you have the parents held accountable?
Well, look, throwing the parents in jail is not going to make them better parents. It's not going to cause them to be more in tune with what their children are doing. But if, in fact, a mom and a dad either act in a grossly negligent way or willfully blind about what their kids are doing, then I think they should be held criminally responsible. And here's why. Not just as a knee-jerk reaction, because I don't like those knee-jerk legislations, something happens, somebody gets kidnapped, somebody gets killed, now we have to have a brand-new law. That's not my style, but we have this brand-new tool called the Internet and social media, and it can be a great tool, and it can be a devastating weapon. And when it gets to the point where it can be a weapon, then parents have to look at it and be responsible. After all, we hold parents responsible if kids get to their guns. We hold parents responsible if kids get to their car and take it out. We even hold parents responsible for getting their kids to school on time. So if we can do that and say, parents, you have an affirmative obligation, then if they fail in that obligation, if they just sit back and ignore Internet presence, particularly after they're put on notice, then why shouldn't we hold them responsible?
All right, we're talking to Mark O'Mara here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Now, let me, and I know you wrote a piece today on your blog at omaralawblog.com, which talks about some of the concerns that people who have responded to your proposal have posted. But when I heard you the other day, I said, okay, I can't wait to get him on because I want to have a good conversation about this. And here's my concern. First of all, you bring up cars and guns and even school to an extent or to a degree are law. In other words, a kid is against the law for a kid to touch a gun. It's against the law for a kid to drive. It's against the law to keep a kid home from school if you want to go take it to that extent as you added to the guns and the car. My question, and then earlier in our conversation, you kind of mixed in how she was bullied a cyber way and non-cyber way. She was stalked on the internet and in regular good old-fashioned, if you will, bullying. So I just read a story out of England yesterday or last week was Kick a Ginger Day, where in a town in England they were kicking kids with red hair. My son came home with a note from his middle school that talked about this thing somebody was doing called California Knockout, where you punch kids in the chest. And it's supposed to be some kind of dare or something, warning parents against it and all that. So my question is, God forbid if someone punches a kid in the chest during California Knockout or kicks a ginger and they fall down and bash their head on the sidewalk and die, should the parents be responsible for that as well?
I don't think so. I really don't. And here's the distinction I think we should make. And I understand that those incidents that happen, like you say, just something untoward, where a parent really doesn't have an opportunity to supervise. And I'll give you an example. A kid runs out into the street and gets run over by a car, and it's a tragedy. Great. In that same exact fact pattern, if I were to tell you, Steve, just so you know, that kid who ran into the highway and got run over, their parents, the neighbors came to them half a dozen times in 4 weeks before and said, you got to stop with your kid right out on the highway. He's going to get run over. The cops came to that same house and said, you can't let your kid run in the street like that. He's going to get run over. At that point, would you then begin to say to yourself, you know something? Maybe the parents are responsible for that act of the child, which is not in and of itself dangerous. It's not a gun or a car. It's just what kids do. But at a certain point, if the parents refuse, if they are willfully blind or grossly negligent in caring for their child, why shouldn't we hold them responsible? Because after all, when we know that parents don't act a certain way, we actually do hold them responsible a lot. We bring them into the juvenile justice system, or we bring them into the what we call down here DCF, the Department of Children and Families, and we hold them responsible. We put them under court orders. I don't want them in jail, but I do want them under court order to say, your child for the past 11 months has cyberbullied and personally bullied a child so much so that they caused a death. You are now under a court order to monitor the kid's internet presence or to do away with it, to take courses or classes, to teach yourself to be a parent in the 21st century because you refuse to do it on your own. Look, we all know that the way we look at these cases, back at least when I was growing up, well, I didn't even have R-rated movies and M-rated movies. My mom and dad had the responsibility to tell me what movie I can go see or not.
No,
now
absolutely.
We have ratings.
Yeah, well, and I'm glad. So have you modified it then to say that pending warnings or a warning or several warnings, as opposed to the parent just didn't know and the kid and the kid?
Correct.
Okay, so you have modified
it. This was going to be. Well, even in the beginning, my first draft was that it was going to be a willful blindness or a grossly negligent standard, and you don't get to that unless you can show, as a prosecutor, you can show something like notice or that you were so intentionally ignorant of what your children are doing that no reasonable person would say that's okay.
Now, could I turn it around in a crazy way? Sure. I mean, it's not normal for a kid to react, a kid with caring parents, a kid to kill himself. A kid to communicate with other kids about killing himself, a kid to plan to kill himself. I mean, that's not a normal reaction. Kids used to get bullied all the time, probably still do. Not that I like it, not that I condone it, for glasses, for being overweight, for being underweight, for not being able to play ball. You name it, kids got bullied when I was growing up. I don't recall anybody killing themselves, but should there be then turn it around to the parents of the bullied kid? Should there be a responsibility on the part of the parents? Because if the parents are aware of the bullying and they don't take extreme measures to make sure that their kid is okay and doesn't kill himself, what culpability do they have?
No, you're absolutely right. And I actually mentioned that a couple of days ago about the same exact thing. And the people I was talking to they gasped about it. Wait a minute, you're going to hold a child gets killed and now you're going to hold the parents responsible of the dead child. I went, look, we have to be realistic. This is not just a child died, someone's got to pay. This is a reality check on us as a society with a brand new tool that we know precious little about how to handle.
Right.
And it's called social media. And if you are acting negligent, Steve, if you have a child and he is being bullied to death online and you so don't care about his internet presence that you don't get it, Well, why shouldn't you be responsible? Are you responsible if you're not watching your diabetic son's insulin levels? Of course you are. And no one's going to sit back and say, oh, that child had diabetes, so we're not going to hold a parent responsible for not checking blood sugar 3 times a day.
Right.
I'm sorry. Be realistic about what the internet is.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. So, how are you proceeding to try to get this into legislation?
I'm on my 3rd draft of the bill right now. It's going to get to the point where I'm happy with it, and those people I'm talking to are happy with it. I'm going to kick it over to a few of the local legislators that I know and
in Florida, correct? Yeah.
In Florida.
Yeah.
And look, I do not intend to put on my resume bill drafter or lawmaker. I'm doing just what I do, but this is something that needs to get on paper and to people who can truly discuss it and figure out how we're going to handle a problem that is killing our children.
Great. Listen, Mark, thank you so much. I know you have a deposition coming up. Thank you for your time. We'll talk again. I look forward to it.
Sounds great, Steve.
Bye-bye. Mark O'Mara, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, he was George Zimmerman's attorney, and you could check him out at omaralawblog.com. And watch him on CNN, where he is a CNN contributor on very many legal matters. And this is an interesting situation here. If it's chronic and if the parents have been warned time and time again and their kids bully someone and the bullied kid kills themselves, if the parents of the kid who killed himself isn't negligent themselves, then maybe you could look to the parents. But I think this is a very, very fine line you're walking. What do you say, 877-NEWSMAX, 877-NEWSMAX. Steve Malzberg on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Attention anyone with diabetes or prediabetes. A special website has been created just for you. At the free website 99reverse.com, we reveal the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. People who have followed this plan, exactly as found at 99reverse.com, have not only normalized their blood sugar, but stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's astounded approval. Now you can take this natural, safe, and drug-free approach to reversing diabetes. You won't get this advice anywhere else. At 99reverse.com, we reveal 3 common doctor recommendations about diabetes and why they are horribly wrong. Plus, you get 3 specific actions to take right now today that get your blood sugar under control in 4 weeks or less. Go right now to 99reverse.com. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? Visit 99reverse.com and find out now, while this revolutionary video is still available online for free. People who have followed this plan have not only normalized their blood sugar, but stopped taking their diabetes medication. That's 99reverse.com. 99reverse.com.
When you were younger, you probably never considered your heart health. But cardiologist Dr. Chauncey Crandall knows from experience that taking steps to care for your heart becomes more crucial as the decades pass, if you want to keep this vital organ ticking smoothly for years to come. That's why Dr. Crandall recently developed Cardio Advanced, a nutritional supplement containing 12 special ingredients, all selected to help improve and maintain your heart health and normal cholesterol levels. The flagship of this exclusive formula, esterified plant sterols, may help lower your risk of heart disease when taken as part of a diet low in cholesterol and fat. And great news, now you have the opportunity to try a 30-day supply of Cardio Advanced. Simply cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act right now, you'll also receive a free doctor's guide to a healthy heart as a special bonus. Please visit cardioadvanced.com/radio for complete details on claiming your 30-day bottle of Cardio Advanced and free report. That's cardioadvanced.com/radio. Life is too precious to ignore your heart health. Visit cardioadvanced.com/radio now while supplies last.
Do you have a motorized wheelchair or scooter that needs repairs and you don't know where to turn? Then call the experts at Precision Repair Network. They are the specialists in repairing all makes and models of motorized wheelchairs and scooters. You can call 24/7 and they will come to you anywhere in the United States. They'll give you a loaner to use until they return yours in perfect condition. And your repairs may be covered by your Medicare or your private insurance, so there is little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. If your wheelchair or scooter needs repairs, call this special hotline now and learn how you can get door-to-door service on your repairs at little or no cost to you. Precision Repair Network. They'll get you moving again. Operators are ready to take your call right now. 800-978-4813. 800-978-4813. 800-978-4813. That's 800-978-4813.
Constipation, gas, bloating, most people suffer through. But now, there's a simple solution for occasional digestive problems called Bactipro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Bactipro is the fiber probiotic formula that supports healthy digestive and immune health. And it comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. Bactipro contains 6 powerful strains of beneficial probiotic bacteria, dietary fiber, and bacteria-nourishing prebiotics, plus powerful antioxidants. Now, you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Bactipro.com/special. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Improve your digestive health now. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/special. That's BACTIPRO.com/special. Bactipro.com/special.
This is not your typical Screamfest talk show. No. This is the next generation of talk radio. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back to the Steve Malzberg Show. And joining us right now is a man who is a 23-year veteran of the United States Navy, former commander of Navy SEAL Team 6. He also happens to be a former Montana State Senator from Whitefish, Montana. And he's looking to become the lone congressman from the state of Montana. Joining us now is Ryan Zinke. Hey, Ryan, how are you, sir?
Great to be here.
Well, it is my honor to talk to someone with your resume, sir, and your resume of service to this country. Thank you very much for that. You wrote an interesting piece the other day, the Great Falls Tribune, and you said that your vision is that America needs to return to its roots. And what you mean by that, I guess, is that you've been in other countries. You've been around the world. You've seen a lack of confidence in governments lead to the end of those governments and the destruction of those countries, correct?
That's correct. And I think, an issue is trust. As I go around, our country, and I ask the question, how many people out there trust the United States government? And, I get very few, if any, hands. And as a 23-year veteran, and I was a commander at SEAL Team 6, I understand and I've seen the consequences of when people don't trust their government. And we are right there. And I think in order to restore faith is that we have to relook and center on the Constitution, which is important. It's about fundamental freedoms, both individual and economic.
And, you talk about in your piece, and by the way, you announced today, and we appreciate you coming on and making us one of your first interviews. You announced today, and one of the things that you wrote about in that piece was, you talk about, for instance, Hillary Clinton at that famous hearing on Benghazi where she wore green and shrugged her shoulders and said, what difference does it make, why he was our ambassador to Benghazi was killed, Christopher Stevens. And that's an outrage when a Secretary of State sits there and says something like that.
Well, truth does matter. In the case of Benghazi, you had three things. You had, one, ineptness of letting it happen. Two, inaction while the action occurred, not giving cross-border authority. 7.5 hours, 2 former SEALs were duking it out, and we didn't provide any assistance. And then finally the cover-up at the end of it, which was a lie. It had nothing to do with the video. It was known. And, of course, the Susan Rice, who promulgated it, she gets promoted. I think it's outrageous. It's outrageous on the IRS, hunting down and harassing, citizens. You have NSA spying on people. I mean, no wonder people don't trust the government. And I want to trust the government. And when the president, during his State of the Union address, I want to believe in what he says is truthful. And I think we have to make sure that we hold people accountable and get at the truth.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. What about the government shutdown and Of course, if you listen to the media, it's all the Republicans' fault. They did it. It's all the Tea Party's fault. Where do you fall when it comes to if you were in Congress today? Would you align with the leadership more so, or would you align with the Tea Party group more so? Where would you be?
Well, this is I think there's two issues about the government shutdown. Well, actually three. First, the government shutdown was about budget. And to me, we should have forced the president to say, give me a budget for 5 years, and how are we going to correct this? It's the president's job to provide a budget. The Congress approves it. Mr. President, show me a budget how we're going to get back to fiscal reality and responsibility in 5 years. I think the second part about it is when the government did shut down, I think it was a rude awakening to America that we have 47 million people on food stamps. And so the amount of government dependency, and it's about jobs. We need better jobs out there, and we need a growing economy. And, I live in the great state of Montana. We can be energy independent in 5 years. I mean, imagine the global consequences of America being energy independent and have the ability to export. And yet there's a war on fossil fuels. I think it's insane. And I think both sides are fed up with politics. We need less politics, more leadership, and to address the challenges that face our country in a truthful way. And why I'm an optimist? The power and the greatness of America has never been in the government. It's always been in our people. And I have greater faith in Americans than I do in our American government.
Ryan, but what about Obamacare? And again, the Republican original effort was to delay Obamacare or defund it, then a year, and then the medical device tax with subsidies for congressional staffers, and basically they got none of that. Going forward, how do you think, we've seen the fiasco that the rollout is computer-wise and signing up, et cetera. We've seen the effect on the economy with businesses creating a new normal where they're cutting back hours to under 40 down to 30 so they wouldn't fit under Obamacare. What would the strategy be, short of taking back the House, taking back the Senate and the White House? What strategy would you recommend if you arrived in Washington today, for instance, and became a member of Congress?
Well, I have to respect Senator Cruz. I mean, he did exactly what he said, and he, I think understands that Obamacare is terrible. I think the play is, what are we going to do about it? I mean, we all know the medical industry and the care. We can make great improvements. I think we need a message of how to make it better. Necessarily not snapping the ball isn't the play, but it is affecting our economy adversely. There's no cost controls. It seems like the only people that are going to win out of this thing are probably hospitals and pharmaceuticals. And you go down to your local hospital and you look where the growth is. It's all in the administration and the billing, but they're not adding any more doctors. They're not adding any frontline, people to provide better care. And there's a lot of seniors out there that are going to be really upset when the copays go up because the Medicare isn't going to cover it because there's been changes.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking to Ryan Zinke. He's a 23-year military veteran, United States Navy, former commander of Navy SEAL Team 6. He's looking to become a congressman from the state of Montana, also former state senator from Whitefish, Montana. Let me ask you about something that there's a story today about this horrific, shortly after the SEAL Team 6 got bin Laden. Back on August 6, 2011, we lost 30 Americans in a crash of a helicopter, I think a Chinook helicopter, out of Afghanistan that the SEALs were put on. And there's a book out, Extortion 17, and there's a investigative file made available to the Washington Times that shows that the helicopter's landing zone was not properly vetted for the threats, nor protected by gunships. Commanders criticized the mission as too rushed, and the conventional Chinook chopper as ill-suited for dangerous troop infiltration. Here's what I never understood from the day this happened. We know how the president hemmed and hawed and went back and forth and turned down getting up bin Laden and then had to sleep on it when he finally decided to do it. And, we wanted to make sure we didn't lose any SEALs. So many things could have gone wrong. Oh, my God. And yet they throw 30 or so of our finest men, the same SEAL team, in many instances, on this to this mission, which wasn't even a mission that you needed SEALs for. I don't understand the whole thing.
Well, I think it's a reminder how dangerous war is. My understanding of it was that as they cross-decked over to an available helicopter, it probably wasn't their choice of helicopters, but they were run to the sound of guns, and I applaud that. I think what the guys face in Afghanistan is a very tough rules of engagement, and to me, either we fight or we go home. I think you're morally bound to make sure that our troops in harm's way have everything they need to win.
Absolutely.
But when you're bunkered down, you're not allowed to fight at night. You're not allowed to, go in these different areas. You're not allowed to engage, and the rules of engagement become so tight that you effectively are on defense. You can't win in war playing defense. You got to take the momentum of the enemy and hit them hard. And to me, my daughter's a Navy diver. My son-in-law is a Navy SEAL. I don't want to see our kids go forward and fight a war without having everything they need to win. And I can tell you, from my perspective, is the last two wars were fought about oil. And if the United States would not have an insatiable appetite for foreign oil, and we could concentrate on energy independence, which I believe we can gain in 5 years, the geopolitical landscape changes.
But Ryan, we haven't gotten a drop of oil from Iraq, have we?
Well, but it's global. We still import.
Yeah, of course we import, but why would we go to war in Iraq over oil if we didn't get any oil from them?
Well, I think the last two wars were about oil. It's about our seemingly insatiable appetite for foreign sources, and this war on fossil fuels domestically, I think, is nothing short of insane. Everyone wants clean air, clean water. We get it. But also is that energy independence has got to be the top of the priority list.
Well, absolutely. We have the Keystone Pipeline that's being delayed by this administration, and they're never going to approve it. We have all kinds of ways, fracking and other ways, and natural gas under there, enough to make us self-sufficient. But now he's got a war on coal going, and it's until we change presidents, if it's not too late by that time, then it's never going to happen. But Ryan, I wish you all the best, and thanks for taking the time, sir.
Well, thank you, and follow me on ryanzinke.com. And, I appreciate the support out there. And I have to tell you, I think it's changeable, and I think we can turn the ship around in Washington, D.C.
Well, I hope you are right. Thank you, Ryan. ryanzinke.com. It's ryanzinke.com. All right, folks. We're going to come back. Like I said, still ahead on today's show. We're going to have Ann Coulter. We're going to have Tom DeLay. We're going to talk to Sally Cohn from Fox News and the Daily Beast. So we got a lot coming up. I just don't buy this war for oil. I mean, if you're going to say that the war is for oil, and I say, well, we went to war and we didn't get any oil. Where's the oil? And you say, yeah, well, we have a foreign dependency. Yeah, but not in Iraq. Why'd we go to war in Iraq for oil? Don't tell me we're in Afghanistan for oil. I mean, if you're going to make that accusation, then back it up. But, shouldn't we have insisted at least that Iraq pay for our monetary costs for the war after the fact in oil? Never happened. So, this war for oil, I just don't understand that claim, which is usually made by those on the left. Anyway, 877 Newsmax, if you want to weigh in, 877 Newsmax right here on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Wow, you look great. Thanks. I've lost some weight. What's your secret weapon? Actually, I do in fact have one. Really?
If you're looking for help in your weight loss efforts, remember this name, Metabio. It just may be the edge you've been looking for. Metabio is the nutritional weight loss breakthrough power-packed with 5 high-quality ingredients. Metabio supports healthy metabolism and promotes fat loss. It helps maintain your optimal weight and wellness when used as part of a healthy lifestyle. Now you can receive a 30-day supply of Metabio. Simply cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit thematavio.com/offer for complete details. Act now and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Practical Guide to Healthy Weight Management. Now and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Practical Guide to Healthy Weight Management. That's the METABIO.com/offer. Hurry, only while supplies last at thematavio.com/offer.
Hi, this is Mike Reagan. Folks ask me, what would Ronald Reagan do if he were with us today? I believe the first thing he'd do is stop Obamacare. Already it's in effect with higher taxes, hidden fees, skyrocketing insurance rates, big Medicare cuts, and some insurance plans are hit with a 40% tax. Protect yourself by getting the Obamacare Survival Guide. It's already a #1 New York Times bestseller. Newsmax says it's the best guide to the new law, giving you the strategies, tips, and loopholes you need to know. If you're insured on Medicare, a business owner, a medical professional, just about anyone, you need this book.
Get the #1 bestseller, The Obamacare Survival Guide, at bookstores everywhere. Or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare311.com. Obamacare311.com. That's Obamacare311.com.
Men, this is the time in your life when you have more freedom to travel, more time for leisure, including an active lifestyle, even a renewed intimacy. The last thing you want is the hassle of an aging prostate. Frequent trips to the bathroom also keep you awake at night. But here's good news. Renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein believes that prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Prostate Revive, the dietary supplement specifically formulated to help improve and sustain normal prostate function. Learn more about how you can receive a 30-day supply of Prostate Revive. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit prostaterevive.com/special for complete details. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate, while supplies last. Try Prostate Revive for 30 days at prostaterevive.com/special. That's prostaterevive.com/special.
This is the worst weather we've seen in quite some time, folks, and I don't see any end in sight. People have been calling in from across the state complaining their basements are flooding. One guy said he now has an indoor swimming pool in his basement. I told him he needs the waterproofing innovations from Basement Systems. If you want a dry basement or crawl space that will weather any kind of storm, you need the patented solutions from Basement Systems. You've seen them on home makeover shows throughout the country. With a lifetime warranty, every solution is custom designed for your basement. You can finally have that room you've always wanted with our total basement finishing system. Call now for a free estimate, and you'll never have to worry about storms like these again.
Call now for your free basement inspection at 800-516-9794, 800-516-9794. Learn how to waterproof your basement now. Call this number, 800-516-9794, 800-516-9794.
Hi, this is Mike Reagan. You need to watch out because thousands of new Obamacare rules are currently being implemented, and few know what the law says or does. Listen to what Senator Max Baucus, one of the authors of the Obamacare law, recently said.
I tell you, I just see a huge train wreck coming down, and I don't see any results yet. I just see a huge train wreck.
He's right. So protect yourself from this train wreck. Get the #1 bestseller, The Obamacare Survival Guide. Newsmax says it's the best guide to the new law. Join more than 500,000 Americans who have their copy.
Get the #1 bestseller, The Obamacare Survival Guide, at bookstores everywhere. Or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare311.com. Obamacare311.com. That's Obamacare311.com.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll-free at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
For 2 years now, you've been an opponent of the DREAM Act,
which would allow the children of undocumented aliens to pay in-state rates. In a speech at the Reagan Library 2 years ago, September 2011, you said, "I do not believe for the people who came here illegally that we should be subsidizing with taxpayer money through in-state tuition their education." This past Saturday night at a dinner of the Latino Leadership Alliance, you seemed to change your position. You said you're now for tuition equality. Are you changing your position at this late date in order to attract more of the Hispanic vote in this election?
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. That was from the last debate between Christie and Barbara Buono, his Democratic opponent in the race for the governorship of New Jersey. And wait till you hear this. So understand this. Chris Christie, by his speeches, by his words, has been widely known or suspected or believed to have been against discounts of in-state tuition for illegal children of illegals, and now he's changed his mind. Listen to this answer. Here's the next cut.
No, Michael. In fact, my position has been the same all along. At the time, what I said to the people of New Jersey was that we could not afford, given the awful budget mess we were left in by Governor Corzine and Senator Buono, to be able to put more of a burden on our state's colleges and universities and have them do this. But what I always have said is that when economic times got better, that would be one of the things that I would consider. And what I said on Saturday night was it's time now, given that economic times are getting better and the state budget revenues are going up, that this is now something that we need to sit down with the legislature with. And I suggested in that speech in the lame duck session to sit down and talk about how we would responsibly fund tuition equality. So I've never been opposed to tuition equality, Michael. What I've been opposed to is making that choice when there are other choices that we needed to make in the budget. And so it's not a change of position for me.
He is a rhino of the biggest rhino possibility you could be a rhino of. Well, I don't know what I just said, but so let me get this straight. I live in New Jersey. Every year my property taxes go up. He's telling me now, I don't care if he was against it before he was for it, the tuition equality. What the heck is tuition equality? Why should an illegal, the child of illegals, get the same discount that my son gets living in New Jersey? Tuition equality. So let me get this straight. New Jersey now has so much revenues coming in that now you have this extra money, governor, and so the way you want to spend some of it is by giving the discount, expanding the discount for in-state tuition to illegals? How about chopping down my property tax? This guy is a piece of work. Now, the writer who asked him this question didn't back down. Here's the next final cut.
Your speech at the Reagan Library was widely seen as you're taking a position against the DREAM Act.
Well, they were wrong. Whoever widely saw it was wrong.
Oh, you're so clever. Go back on Saturday Night Live and sing about everything dies, baby. That's a fact. 3 weeks after Sandy, where people died. Governor. Of course he was against it. This guy flips and he flops and he flops and he flips. All he cares about is running for president. Now, the other day he told us how it's wrong for a court, either the state Supreme Court of New Jersey or one judge, to determine the issue of gay marriage for the state of New Jersey. And when a judge ruled that it had to be legalized, he said they were going to fight it. And so they asked for a stay of the judge's order until they could continue to fight it. So the state Supreme Court of New Jersey last week ruled unanimously, after we left the air on Friday, unanimously, nope, you can't stay this order while you fight it. So guess what? Today, Chris Christie decided he's not going to fight it anymore. That's right, the man who stood on principle at the debate, and I played you those sound bites saying a judge or a court should not decide this. It's for the people, the voters of New Jersey to decide. Now, all of a sudden, because he smells the wind on the Supreme Court, so you lose at the Supreme Court, you take it higher. Nope. Wave the white flag. How convenient for the rhino governor who wants to be president. How convenient. How convenient. This guy is a piece of work. To the phones we go. Let's go to New Jersey first, actually. We have Michael in Middletown, New Jersey. Hey, Michael, you're on the Steve Malzberg Show.
Yeah, I get confused by that all the time. It's Middletown, but I'm
okay,
curious
sorry.
That's okay. Why you find it so hard to believe this country decided to go to war over natural resources?
What natural resources did we get from Iraq? What natural resources have we gotten from Afghanistan? Tell me.
First of all, it's been estimated there's $6 trillion of natural resources in Afghanistan.
What natural resources did we get from Iraq, and what natural resources have we gotten from Afghanistan?
Well, since you want to beat me down, let me ask you, what makes you think you're not getting oil from Iraq?
Okay, because I think we would be told it. Why wouldn't we be told it?
You think you would be told it?
All right.
Okay.
I know, you know, right, Michael? You're right. We went to war for oil. And it's a secret deal. We're getting all this oil from Iraq, but nobody knows about it except you. That's right.
So why do we go to war in
Michael.
the Persian Gulf Wars? Why do we go to war in the Persian Gulf Wars?
The Persian Gulf Wars? You mean prior?
Why do we protect Kuwait? Why do we protect Kuwait?
We protected Kuwait because Kuwait was an ally, and we did get oil, and we were getting oil from Kuwait. And we were. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. We were getting oil from Kuwait. Yes. Yes, we were. We're not from Iraq, and we're not from Afghanistan. And I asked you 3 times. I asked our guest before you, what oil are we getting from Iraq? And what natural resources are we getting from Afghanistan? And if you know that we went to war for their oil, tell me about it. Tell me where the oil is we're getting. How do you know we're not? Oh, how do I know we're not? Yeah, okay, that's a great. When did you stop beating your wife? You ever hear that question? All right, how do you know we're not? Anyway, folks, so we got a big hour ahead, highlighted by Sally Cohn and Ann Coulter and then Tom DeLay. Don't miss it on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Obamacare, President Obama's massive healthcare law, is taking effect this year. With over 15,000 pages of regulations, few even know what it means. Now, the Obamacare Survival Guide by Nick Tate gives you the shocking facts about this law. It's a step-by-step guide on how you can protect yourself. Already a New York Times bestseller, every American needs to get the Obamacare Survival Guide and find out about the new taxes, hidden fees, fines, Medicare changes, business rules, and why doctor shortages are likely. Donald Trump says the Obamacare Survival Guide is a must-read for anyone worried about getting good health care for themselves or their employees. So get the Obamacare Survival Guide. It's at bookstores, or get our special offer at Obamacare311.com and you'll save $15. Go now to Obamacare311.com. That's Obamacare311.com.
Do you suffer from joint discomfort? Contrary to what the experts may say, achy joints do not have to be a normal part of aging. Holistic doctor David Brownstein challenged conventional thinking to focus on natural solutions for joint health. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Limbex, the premium nutritional supplement specifically formulated to support healthy joints and connective tissue. It's a new joint breakthrough formula containing 11 hand-picked nutrients. Learn more at limbexjoint.com/special and take the 30-day Healthy Joint Challenge. That's a 30-day supply of the Limbex Joint Supplement. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Happy, Healthy Joints at Any Age. You can do something about joint discomfort and flexibility. Learn how you can try it for 30 days at limbexjoint.com/special. That's limbexjoint.com/special. limbexjoint.com/special.
Hello and welcome to your Newsmax Now update. I'm Kathleen Walter. President Obama will host a healthcare event at the White House today to highlight some of the successes of the Affordable Care Act. However, even the White House acknowledges computer glitches have caused problems for people trying to shop for health insurance on the government website. Opponents say the rough start is proof that Obamacare won't work.
Well, I certainly agree with Senator Cruz that Obamacare is indeed a train wreck. I mean, a visit to the website is kind of like a trip to the Department of Motor Vehicles in your state. People can't, even if they can access the website, there's no way to get quotes. Even those who may be fortunate enough to sign up are going to find that the premiums are higher and the choices are fewer.
Administration officials say the website problems will be fixed, and they project millions will now get coverage that were previously denied. Republicans McCain, Rubio, and Cruz are blasting Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius for the glitches crippling the Obamacare rollout. They said she will eventually have to testify before Congress over her agency's design and failed launch of the website.
Do you think that somebody here needs to take the fall, that Kathleen Sebelius, as some have suggested, ought to resign?
Well, let's have congressional hearings. Let's find out who's responsible for this fiasco and then take the appropriate action, in my view. But look, this is just the beginning of the problems associated with a massive restructuring of 1/5 of our economy. And there's going to be a whole lot more problems associated with this before it's done.
Several reports have estimated that the website cost over $200 million and is still in a process where it's still not complete. Gay couples exchanged vows in early morning ceremonies in several New Jersey communities. The state began recognizing their marriages at 12:01 this morning. The New Jersey Supreme Court last week refused to delay a lower court order for the state to start recognizing the marriages. New Jersey is the 14th state to recognize same-sex marriage. Florida police are questioning 2 convicted murderers who used forged documents to escape from prison. Joseph Jenkins and Charles Walker are back behind bars. This after the Bay County Sheriff's Office says the duo used fake court documents to secure their release from prison. Authorities want to know who forged the documents for them and who helped them while they were on the run. Coming up, office politics. We all have to deal with it, but do you have to play, and how do you win? Political scientist Jack Godwin shares tips for survival in a Newsmax exclusive coming up. And it's a pumpkin carving contest like no other, 5 miles offshore and 30 feet below. We'll explain after this.
In 2013, half of your friends, family, and neighbors may lose their jobs, all while you are robbed of 90% of your life savings, investments, and home's value. Controversial economist Robert Wiedemer, who was the only expert to predict the recession, has released a startling video with shocking evidence that the powers that be have tried to ban. But that hasn't stopped 50 million people from getting the truth. Watch it at aftbook.com. That's aftbook.com.
What is Lignet? Lignet is knowledge. Lignet is power. Lignet is global. Top-level officials, U.S. intelligence officers, national security advisors, foreign operatives, all reporting directly to you. What is Lignet? Lignet is confidential. Lignet is sensitive. Lignet is security. What is Lignet? They're the ones taking the world's pulse. If you're not in the know, you're not on Lignet.com. You've been briefed.
Here's today's silver shortage update from Lear Capital.
Reports keep coming, the shortage is growing. Twice already this year, the U.S. Mint has run out. Last time this happened, the silver price jumped 40%. It's time to take advantage with this special offer from Lear Capital.
For a limited time, buy 20 new silver polar bear coins and get one free. The only 1.5 ounce coin on the market. It's minted with the finest silver, carries a government guarantee, and is eligible for IRAs. The silver polar bear is available exclusively from Lear Capital. But don't wait. Silver supplies are shrinking and availability is not guaranteed. This offer is limited to a minimum purchase of $5,000. Call right now. 800-634-0482. 800-634-0482. Call Lear Capital now. 800-634-0482.
And welcome back. Anyone can succeed at office politics by knowing when to fight, when not to fight, and when to lead. That's according to author and political scientist Dr. Jack Godwin.
There's politics in any kind of an organization, universities, private sector, and of course the government. The idea is to get good at it, to defend yourself, not to set traps, or play dirty tricks on your coworkers, but to know what's happening to you so you can make the organization a better place.
Consider it a sign of fall in South Florida. 30 scuba divers dove 30 feet to see bottom this weekend to take part in the annual underwater pumpkin carving contest about 5 miles off Key Largo. Working against the pumpkin's natural buoyancy, they paired classic, fun-loving facial features on the gourds. Stay with Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter, and this has been your Newsmax Now update for October 21st.
5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2. Part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, hour number 2. Where did that first hour go? It's in the can. Oh, no, it's not in the can, actually. It's gone. It's just gone. Not even in the can. It's gone. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. 877-Newsmax is the number if you want to participate, as Mike from New Jersey did in the previous segment. We have a big hour this hour, and Coulter will join us. Sally Cohn, Fox News and Daily Beast contributor, will join us very soon in this half hour. Coming up later in the show, Tom DeLay will be here as well. So, and of course, not to be outdone, we are now welcoming in probably the greatest national security columnist in the country, and he is, of course, Bill Gertz for the Washington Times, where he holds that position, and senior editor at the Washington Free Beacon. Hey, Bill, how are you?
Hi, good to be on the program.
Well, always good to talk to you, my friend. Okay, so there's a lot I want to get to. I want to start with we have these talks, or at least the talks that were going on between the United States, several other countries, and Iran. We had a report, I think on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, from the Russian foreign minister saying don't expect too much. They didn't go so well. There's a trust problem, et cetera, et cetera. But Israel all along has warned, don't believe anything Iran says. Don't believe this charm offensive by their new president. And Benjamin Netanyahu has been doing interviews right along as these talks have been going on, saying, Israel does not believe this, and you shouldn't either. And he said at the UN, if Israel has to go alone and do it alone, so be it. We'll go it alone. And I understand from what you wrote last week at the Washington Times that the U.S. is keeping an eye on Israel, so to speak, to see if they might be ready to launch an attack.
That's right, Steve. In fact, recently Israel conducted some unusually large-scale Air Force military maneuvers in the northern part of Israel. They went out over the Mediterranean, and a IDF, Israeli Defense Forces spokesman, recently told their state radio this was deliberately done to show that Israel has the capability to conduct long-range operations, and this appears to be what at least the political message that the Israelis are sending. I know from talking to people in the Pentagon that they're keeping a close watch on what the Israelis are doing because, as you mentioned, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is very concerned that Israel will be left in the lurch through these negotiations. I've seen reports that the administration is clearly getting ready to make some concessions to Iran. The question then is, what do they get in return? What are the Iranians going to do? They're going to promise that they will only enrich uranium for peaceful purposes. Well, that would be rewarding them for violating their obligations. They've had a massive enrichment program. It's all been done covertly. They haven't declared it. And by all measures, it appears to be headed for a military program to develop nuclear weapons.
Yeah, and Netanyahu and the Israelis have said they don't want to see Geneva 213 or 2013 become Munich 1938. And this administration seems just intent, from the statements of Kerry even before these talks began, from the statements of Obama, constantly noting this phony fatwa by Khomeini against nuclear weapons. They seem, just poised to ease the sanctions and have some documents signed and try to put Israel in a box.
Yeah, it's this blind policy of the Obama administration to accept agreements at all costs. I reported earlier that they had the same problem with the Russians. Russians are violating a significant 1987 Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty by carrying out a series of tests of missiles to less than their full range, ICBM missiles. It sounds like just a technical thing, but it's very significant. And the Obama administration is completely ignoring that. And the reason is they do not want to upset this so-called process of negotiations. It's the same with Iran. It's all about the process, getting results that can be verified and complied with by the Iranians. That's a different story. And they seem less interested in that part of the arms control process.
Yeah, and that's a piece that you wrote also last week about the RS-26 missile expected to be deployed with multiple supersonic maneuvering warheads designed to defeat RS-26 missile. Expected to be deployed with multiple supersonic maneuvering warheads designed to defeat, is basically turning a blind eye because our good friends, the Russians, are facilitating these talks with Iran so we could get beaten there. And we've already been beaten by the Russians in regards to Syria. So we need the Russians to keep getting beaten.
Well, they're getting ready for a summit now in Europe. They're looking at Syria. It's the same deal with Syria. We made some preliminary agreement to get them to dismantle their chemical weapons in the middle of a sectarian civil war. I can tell you, I can predict fairly well that that's not going to go well at all.
Yeah. And one more for you here, Bill, and that is that the Iranian military, and this is from the Washington Free Beacon today, has given over to the Russian army a copy of a downed U.S. drone that was captured and disassembled by Iranian authorities back in 2012. But no surprise there that they would do that, but now we know about it.
Yes, there's a lot of intelligence cooperation between Iran and Russia. And again, this is all the sub rosa part of the relationship that the Russians don't like to talk about. I'm surprised that there was this report in Iran that they had actually given drone technology to the Russians. It's certainly a troubling development in that part of the world as well.
Troubling development. That seems to sum up our foreign policy. And this president, who's been aching for a breakfast with the Ayatollah or the president of Iran since before he was president in 2008, may just do that one day. Bill, I thank you very much for taking time with us, sir.
Sure. Thanks for having me on.
Take care. My pleasure. Bill Gertz, national security columnist for the Washington Times, senior editor at the Washington Free Beacon, joining us today to talk about these you can't keep up with the insanity of this administration domestically, foreign matters, foreign policy, whatever. When we come back, speaking of that, we'll have disagreements, I'm sure, with Sally Cohn, Fox News and Daily Beast contributor, as we'll talk about Obamacare, which she not only loves, but dare I say she adores it, and more on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
In 2013, half of your friends, family, and neighbors may lose their jobs, and you may be forced to watch helplessly as you are robbed of 90% of your life savings, all while your home's value is eradicated. Controversial economist Robert Wiedemer believes we will soon stare down a secret crisis that will rival the Great Depression. It was Wiedemer's 2005 book, America's Bubble Economy, that warned of coming meltdowns in our housing and stock markets. Washington did not heed his call, and folks on Main Street lost $50 trillion from the recession. His New York Times best-selling book, Aftershock, predicted our federal debt and dollar would be the next bubbles to burst. And now, Robert Wiedemer has released a startling video with shocking evidence the powers that be have tried to ban. But that hasn't stopped 50 million people from getting the truth. Join us at aftbook.com. That's aftbook.com.
Hello, my name is Fred Fleitz, and I'm the managing editor of LigNet. You've probably seen our name preceding some of the stories you read on Newsmax, editor of LigNet. You've probably seen our name preceding some of the stories you read on Newsmax is LigNet. LigNet is an acronym for the Langley Intelligence Group Network, a private Washington, D.C. based service that provides global intelligence, in-depth analysis, and detailed forecasting.
Who is LigNet?
LigNet staff and advisors include former CIA officers, national security experts, presidential advisors, and top-level government officials from around the world. I myself held several national security posts for the U.S. government during my 25-year career with the Central Intelligence Agency, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the U.S. Department of State, and the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Our lead advisor is General Michael Hayden, the former director of the CIA. He is joined by former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations John Bolton and former chairman of the National Intelligence Council and Special Assistant to President Ronald Reagan Fritz Ehrmann, former U.S. Ambassador to Venezuela Otto Reich and former clandestine service officer Fritz Ehrmann, former U.S. Ambassador to Venezuela Otto Reich and former clandestine service officer advisory board staff.
What is LigNet's mission?
Every day, our goal is to use our expertise, our resources, and our worldwide staff to take the pulse of the ever-changing political and economic landscape and the threats we face on a daily basis. Whether you are following global events for your portfolio or business, or just interested in the world around you, LigNet provides what you need to know to keep up with global events.
What are the benefits of joining LigNet?
There are many. Every day, LigNet members receive the Morning Brief, a daily email that provides summaries and links to our daily analysis to keep you up to date on LigNet's assessments. LigNet members receive unrestricted access to LigNet's secure database of global analysis. All of our special reports, previous analyses, and exclusive video interviews with intelligence insiders are available to members 24 hours a day. But you also get top-notch analysis that resembles the President's Daily Brief, the classified intelligence assessment delivered to the President of the United States every morning. LigNet also sends breaking news emails to our membership list. If there is a development of global proportions or a terror alert, our subscribers are always the first to know. I hope you now have a better understanding of what LigNet is, but more importantly, recognize how truly invaluable LigNet can be. As the old saying goes, knowledge is power.
Join LigNet for $1. Go to lignet.com/radio.
News and breaking hearts. Aww. This is the Steve Malzberg Show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. And joining us now for the first time is Sally Cohn. You've seen her at Fox News and the Daily Beast, where she's a contributor. Hey, Sally, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to be on with you.
Well, nice to talk to you. Okay, so let's start with Obamacare, and what a disaster! How do you?
I don't know about that.
You don't think it's an embarrassment and a disaster and a disgrace that the people who want to run our health care can't get a computer program to work when they've had 3 years to prepare and they tested it a week before? Can't get a computer program to work when they've had 3 years to prepare and they tested it a week before?
Listen, first of all, I really wish that for the last 3 years, instead of trying to destroy Obamacare, Republicans had been
not my question. Has nothing to do with what I said.
As worried as they now seem about it.
I'm not worried. I'm just saying it's a disaster.
But hey, second of all, listen, waiting in line and ridiculous lines and crappy customer service to get, and I agree, it's a disaster in that sense, does not mean the product itself is bad. And I'd like you to explain to me what you mean by the sort of government takeover if all the government's doing is facilitating people to buy private insurance. That seems smart.
They're not facilitating people to buy it. They're forcing people to buy it. And they're depending on young people who don't have insurance currently to buy it. And you could talk about, less than your phone bill. Not you, but the president can. Just like he lied to us and said you could keep your doctor, you could keep your insurance. And if you're lucky enough to work at a company that hasn't cut your hours from 40 to 30, so you fall under it in the first place, because a lot of companies and CEOs are saying openly they're doing that, which is a disaster. We have more part-time workers now in this country than ever, and it's becoming the new normal thanks to Obamacare. But the fact of the matter is, they're going to learn a new word, these youngsters, if they are interested, which I don't think they are in the first place, and that's deductible. Yeah, you might get a policy for $100, $120, whatever the heck, but wait till they see the thousands in the deductible. They're going to faint, like that girl behind Obama today, unfortunately, almost fainted.
Well,
a deductible. They're going to faint like that girl behind Obama today, unfortunately, almost fainted.
Well, I just posted on the Fox News website my experience signing up for Obamacare, which, by the way, having nothing to do with ideology, I was happy to do because my insurance sucks. And
mine's always been great. I don't know why yours would suck.
Well, I buy insurance through the individual insurance market. I don't get employer-based coverage, and when I got employer-based coverage, it was very good. And incidentally, 95% of companies currently offer employer-based coverage, and none of that's going to change, and none of it is changing.
That's not. No, what do you mean none of it's going to change? That is absolutely not true. Companies are dropping insurance and letting their employees go into the Obamacare system. It's cheaper for them. It's easier for them, and more of that is going to happen, along with cutting employees or hours down to 30 from 40. So how could you say it's not happening?
Because I'm looking, every jobs number has come down and said that full-time hiring is going up, and all of these sort of
full-time hiring is going up.
The sort of sky is falling allegations just aren't bearing out.
Well, the fact of the matter is part-time employment in this country is higher than it's ever been, in addition to the fact that we have less and less workforce participation under Obama than ever before. So you got, in addition to the fact that we have less and less workforce participation under Obama than ever before. So you got.
I mean, I can't sort of argue with things that aren't true. Full-time employment is going up.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Full-time. What does that mean? Full-time employment is going up. What does that mean?
In the last 18 months, more of the jobs that have been created, more of them full-time jobs than part-time jobs.
Well, I hope so.
Now,
I hope so.
Listen,
but part-time jobs are at an all-time high.
Meanwhile, for instance, if you want to have a conversation about how we shouldn't be pushing more people into part-time employment and we should be making sure that people have good benefits and wages, then I agree with that. And I don't understand why, for instance, folks on your side are so opposed to things like raising the minimum wage and things that would actually
because that
ensure
kills
that
business and it costs jobs. Are you an economist? Speak to economists. If you raise the minimum wage, just like when you're forcing, let people choose from employers that offer benefits and let them get the best job they can and let them choose. But forcing the government to make employers do this and that costs jobs.
Just like when we used the government to force kids to no longer work in factories. That was a real abuse of government power.
That is such apples and oranges. It is such a non sequitur. It is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But you talk about how you wrote that 100, absolutely ridiculous. You talk about how 100, you wrote that 100.
330 million. Which line are you referring to?
You said that hundreds of millions of Americans are now reaping the benefits of Obamacare?
Yeah, the people who aren't getting kicked off of their insurance because of pre-existing conditions, who don't face lifetime caps, kids who can stay on their parents' plans until they're older. All of these
hundreds of millions. How many hundreds of millions? 1, 2, or all 3, 20? How many?
I'm sorry. I don't have the magic numbers right here in front of me, so I can get back to you on that. But listen, the pre-existing condition clause alone, that affects massive numbers of Americans, the numbers of young people who are now staying on their parents' plans, people who don't. Every American in this country who had private insurance was subject to a lifetime cap. So now everyone has benefited. Arguably, everyone with private insurance has benefited. You want to revoke that? I would point out that all of these things, including the individual mandate, are supported not only by a strong majority of Americans, over 80%, but a strong majority of Republicans. 3/4 of Republicans support these things.
And in fact, the Republican plans that have been put forward
didn't have another plan.
And Sally, the Republicans have plans, and they include everything you just mentioned, the donut hole, which you didn't mention, keeping kids on their insurance till you could do it till they're 90 for all I care, no pre-existing conditions. You could fit that on one page. Do you understand what's going on? Now there's a report today in conditions. You could fit that on one page. Do you understand what's going on? Now there's a report today because it's so idiotic, but she meant it when she said you got to pass this bill to find out what's in it. And the more we find out what's in it, the bigger disaster and, yes, train wreck that this thing is.
You know what? Then here's what I don't understand. If you think it's a train wreck, then let it wreck. But Republicans have been
No. I'm not
going
to let it wreck the economy and destroy lives and Americans' livelihoods.
But it's not, and it's getting more popular. And
really,
the real yes. You know the poll I'm referring to, the Wall Street Journal, New York NBC poll that said it's gotten 6% more popular in the last 2 weeks. Come on, Republicans are so freaked out
Okay.
This is going to be popular like Medicare, like Social Security, that they want to destroy it before it even has a chance to start.
Wait till old people can't get doctor's appointments or specialists
You know
like
what?
in England and
They can
Canada.
still get-
and the death
This
panels
is not
kick in. They're
England,
going to love it.
Canada, and-
It's going to be
oh,
so
come on.
popular.
The lie of the year, you're going to really repeat
Really?
that one?
Really?
It's been called the lie of the year.
Well, by
That's
who?
not
By
definitive
who?
enough
By your
for you?
left-wing friends, Sally? Who called it the lie of the year?
By independent journalists.
Oh, journalists. Oh, like MSNBC and CNN and ABC and CBS.
You know, it's really hard to have a conversation if we don't base it at least on some sense of facts. There's no...
Because a
death
journalist
panel.
called
That
it the
has
lie of
been-
the year, that makes it a fact in your view? Is that what you're telling me?
It doesn't exist.
No?
Even
Okay.
Republicans have said that
Oh,
that's
okay.
outlandish.
All right, well,
if you
let's-
want to attack the law, attack it based on facts.
I am. There's going to be formulas set up. I talked to Tom Daschle, who was the engineer of this whole thing, and he would have been Kathleen Sebelius, except at the confirmation hearings, he turned out to be too big a tax cheat. Unlike Timmy Geithner, who was a small tax cheat, and he was allowed to run the Treasury. Tom Daschle said to me when I asked him, this is just after the law was passed, what happens when an 85-year-old man needs a bypass? Well, you might have to give him an alternative, like a pill, or put him in a hospice. I said, a hospice to die? He said, that's your words. I said, well, what do you do in a hospice? So don't tell me that things aren't going to change and people don't have a clue what they're in for.
You know, we had a massive problem in this country before the Democrats did something and Republicans stood in the way. 14,000 Americans were losing their country before the Democrats did something and Republicans stood in the way. 14,000 Americans were losing their home, and people were they were going to the emergency room to get their care, and those costs were being passed on to all of us. Now, listen, talk to any economist. The only way to solve these issues is to make sure that everyone is covered and everyone has more affordable quality care. And so there was this idea of the individual mandate, which incidentally Republicans liked before President Obama adopted it, and then they decided they didn't like it. So look, it's a good policy. It's going to work. The websites stink. They're going to get fixed. And, you know, over 80% of Americans agree with me, and Republicans are scrambling because they want to destroy it because they know it's going to be popular.
Now over
I don't know,
80% of Americans agree with you, Sally?
Yes, they
Really?
over 80. As I said before, over 80% of Americans like getting rid of pre-existing conditions, like the individual mandate.
Okay, but you agree
like
with the whole
employer
bill,
mandate,
all 1,800
like the tax-
pages, and I don't.
like
Hey,
the tax-
Sally, I'm up against a hard break. I hope you'll come back, and I had
Oh,
fun
it's
doing
been
it.
a pleasure.
All right, thank you. Sally Cohn, ladies and gentlemen, Fox News and Daily Beast contributor. You know, throw numbers fast and loose, but I hope she'll come back. We'll do it again on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio. Don't go away.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep multiple times each night. You're not alone. Over half of men over 40 experience age-related prostate concerns. Fortunately, prominent medical doctor David Brownstein believes that aging prostate concerns are not inevitable. That's why Dr. Brownstein developed Prostate Revive, an advanced dietary supplement containing a unique blend of 15 ingredients designed to promote optimal prostate health. So men, as part of this new radio promotion, you now have the opportunity to claim your own 30-day supply of Prostate Revive, containing saw palmetto, beta-cytosterol, and numerous other prostate helpers. Just cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act now, you'll also get a doctor's guide to a healthy prostate as a bonus gift. Please visit prostaterevive.com/radio for details on getting your 30-day supply of Prostate Revive and free report. That's prostaterevive.com/radio. Do something about those annoying age-related prostate concerns. Visit prostaterevive.com/radio now while supplies last.
Attention seniors and baby boomers. A new website has been created just for you. SocialSecurity311.com. At SocialSecurity311.com, we reveal a weird trick that could help you add $152,000 to your Social Security payouts. For example, did you know how you file for Social Security can dramatically change the amount of money you collect? One simple step could add up to $1,000 to your monthly payouts. And other loopholes we found reveal 33 ways for big savings on your health care. At SocialSecurity311.com, you will also discover how you could save up to 50% on your groceries, along with 49 other ways to save as much as $50,000 starting today. Newsmax says this website is a critical resource for anyone over the age of 50. So go to SocialSecurity311.com now to find out how you could add extra money to your Social Security checks. That's SocialSecurity311.com. SocialSecurity311.com.
Have you hit a brick wall with your weight loss? Does your weight management plan need an extra edge for success?
If so, listen up. Metabio is the revolutionary weight loss breakthrough designed to help you reach your goal weight as part of your diet and exercise program. Metabio is the premium nutritional supplement power-packed with 5 high-quality ingredients. When used as part of a healthy lifestyle, each component is formulated to help you reach your goals and maintain your optimal weight and wellness. It supports healthy metabolism and promotes fat loss. Now, learn how you can try a 30-day supply of Metabio. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit themetabio.com/special. Act now and also receive instant access to our downloadable special report, a practical guide to healthy weight management. Try it now at themetabio.com/special. That's the metabio.com/special. While supplies last. themetabio.com/special.
Attention hip implant patients. Are you in constant pain? Have you received a letter from your doctor about your implant? Have you had or need a revision surgery? Do you have high levels of metal, chromium, or cobalt in your blood? Over 90,000 hip implant devices have been recalled due to defects and failures resulting in revision or replacement surgery. If you have a recalled hip implant, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-460-0920 to see if your implant is affected by the recalls. If you or a loved one has a defective or recalled hip implant, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-460-0920. That's 800-460-0920. Protect your legal rights today. Call 800-460-0920. This is an advertisement, not valid in all states. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. iLawsuit.com is an advertising group that represents lawyers advertising their services and is a free matching service for consumers. It is not a law firm or lawyer referral service.
This is not your typical Screamfest talk show. No. This is the next generation of talk radio. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we roll along, Ann Coulter coming up next in another few minutes. So stay where you are. Then Tom DeLay after Ann. But joining us right now is Dr. Robert Goldberg, co-founder, VP of the Center for Medicine in the Public Interest, also writes for the blog on the pharmaceutical industry and healthcare at www.drugwonks.com. Hey, doctor, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How about you, Steve?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Boy, oh boy, I'll start this interview the same way I started the last one. Think I'll get a different reply, though. What a mess this Obamacare thing is, huh?
Well, if you love the rollout, you'll be a fanatic for the quality of care that you'll get.
Well, okay, I was talking to Sally Cohn of Fox News and the Daily Beast just before, and of course she thinks that hundreds of millions of people have already reaped the benefits. We only have 300 million in the country, so I don't know how many hundreds she's talking about. Neither did she, by the way. But I was talking to her about how I had a conversation with Tom Daschle on the air. He was the originator of Obamacare. He wrote it, basically. He couldn't be confirmed because he was a tax cheat. And I'd asked him on the air years ago, I said, so what happens to an 85-year-old guy who needs a bypass? Well, give him a pill or put him in a hospice. Now, we are a society that not only values our elderly, but we do everything humanly possible to keep them alive and comfortable as long as possible. And now under Obamacare, all that changes.
It does change. And I've heard the argument that about pre-existing conditions and so on. Well, the fact of the matter is a very small percentage of people have a lifetime limit on their policies. I mean, that's pretty much been baked into the cake. So that's not really you can give Obamacare a little bit of credit for that, but not much. The real crux of the issue is exactly what will be the quality of care and how much will you pay for it if you can find it. And it turns out with cancer patients, for instance, that people who were used to paying $70 a month for a life-saving drug will now have to pay $2,000 a month because it's the same plan but different coverage. And by the way, it's just not under Obamacare. You know, people that you remember, of course, the famous pledge: if you like your insurance, you can keep your insurance.
And your doctor, yes.
Well, you can, except that you're just going to have to pay a fortune to do it. So in the state of New Jersey, the Garden State, the home of the 0-6 Giants, which is a whole other story.
Well, we'll see after tonight. The Devils were 0-6 too. It took them seven tries. But go ahead.
That is true. And the 800,000 people who have health care already before Obamacare, are finding out that their networks of doctors are smaller, their co-pays are bigger, and if you're a patient with a chronic condition, you're going to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to stay with the drugs that you have and the plan that you have. That's not good.
No, absolutely not. And deductibles, like I said to Sally, I said, all I keep reading about now are these people who are going on, looking around, and they think, the premium isn't so bad, and then they get into the policy, and the deductibles are $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and I've never heard the word deductible uttered by Barack Obama or a Democrat ever.
Yeah, what was her response? I mean, there's not much you can say. Except that, it's going to cost more. It's going to cost a lot of people a lot more. And this was such an easy problem to fix. If you just allow people to buy catastrophic care on the open market and then allow people to get access to the latest and best medicines, using drug benefits and treatment centers that we know are designed to keep people out of the hospital. And we've cut the cancer survivor, the hospitalization rate of cancer patients by 50% because of access to new medicines. Now, under Obamacare, the next time that a health plan is required to add new medicines, and you think, they're pumping them out,
Sure, there's always advances, yeah.
Yeah, in 2016. So if you're a health plan, you are now under no obligation to add a new drug. So, as an example, there's a new drug that will keep you out of the hospital and avoid surgery for breast cancer if you have a particular mutation. Well, most of these plans, that was approved last month. None of these plans
cover it. Yeah. I got one for you. We're talking to, by the way, Dr. Robert Goldberg, co-founder and vice president of the Center for Medicine in the Public Interest here on the Steve Malzberg Show. There's a report on the Daily Caller that a 2009 report by the Center for American Progress examining the bill eventually signed by Barack Obama advocates pairing patients and doctors of the same race, which they call a goal towards the law using taxpayer dollars. Here's the quote from the report. Research suggests that healthcare providers' diagnostic and treatment decisions, as well as their feelings about patients, are influenced by patients' race or ethnicity. Several studies have shown that racial concordance is substantially and positively related to patient satisfaction. Now, the key phrase here, they claim, is race concordance, a word which means a state in which things agree and do not conflict with one another. So, of course, this is open to interpretation, but the fear is that they're going to try to have, black doctors see blacks and white doctors see whites, and who knows, maybe Jewish doctors see Jews.
Well, there's got to be a punchline there somewhere, Steve, but I'll think about it. All I can say right now is that it's an insult
to doctors.
The thousands and thousands of doctors.
Absolutely, implying that doctors are racist. That's what the whole thing implies, that white doctors have no empathy for non-white patients. That's what this whole thing is about. And doesn't it fit in with the whole Obama philosophy?
Yeah, I just find it surprising but not shocking.
Yeah.
Any more than I find that the first cuts made to Medicare were to people in hospice.
I know. It is insane. All right, so now the president comes out today very briefly here and says, hey, this is a great product. I can't wait for the cash register to go ching, ching, ching. And, we got a little glitch going here. But don't worry, Obamacare is more than a computer program. It's just insane. And now they want you to call on the phone or go in person. And I'm like, go in person where?
Well, I thought that this was supposed to be a shopping experience as easy as Amazon. Remember that?
Yes.
Remember that? And I can remember, just not to turn it into a sports show, but when they handed out the Mariano Rivera bobbleheads,
yeah, and they didn't have them, yeah.
There was a near riot. Now, people are being a lot more patient with Obamacare, but frankly,
well, nobody wants Obamacare. They wanted the bobblehead dolls.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, boy. Listen, Doc, I really appreciate it. We'll speak to you again. Keep up the good work, and you're the lead-in today to Ann Coulter. So,
well, tell her I have a crush on her, even though she's never met me, and vice versa.
there you go. I will make sure to do that. Sorry, I think she's she used to be in love with Chris Christie, and now her favorite Democrat is Cory Booker. So I don't know how strong that feeling is. But anyway, I appreciate. And now her favorite Democrat is Cory Booker. So I don't know how strong that feeling is. But anyway, I appreciate. The aforementioned Ann Coulter, her new book, Never Trust a Liberal Over 3, especially a Republican, which means rhino, which begs a lot of questions in my mind, and we'll ask Ann when we return on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio. When we return on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
Attention anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. A special website has been created just for you. At the free website 99reverse.com, we reveal the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. People who have followed this plan, exactly as found at 99reverse.com, have not only normalized their blood sugar, but stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's astounded approval. Now you can take this natural, safe, and drug-free approach to reversing diabetes. You won't get this advice anywhere else. At 99reverse.com, we reveal 3 common doctor recommendations about diabetes and why they are horribly wrong. Plus, you get 3 specific actions to take right now today that get your blood sugar under control in 4 weeks or less. Go right now to 99reverse.com. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? Visit 99reverse.com and find out now while this revolutionary video is still available online for free. People who have followed this plan have not only normalized their blood sugar, but stopped taking their diabetes medication. That's 99reverse.com. 99reverse.com.
Hi, this is Mike Reagan. Folks ask me, what would Ronald Reagan do if he were with us today? I believe the first thing he'd do is stop Obamacare. Already it's in effect with higher taxes, hidden fees, skyrocketing insurance rates, big Medicare cuts, and some insurance plans are hit with a 40% tax. Protect yourself by getting the Obamacare Survival Guide. It's already a #1 New York Times bestseller. Newsmax says it's the best guide to the new law, giving you the strategies, tips, and loopholes you need to know. If you're insured on Medicare, a business owner, a medical professional, just about anyone, you need this book.
Get the #1 bestseller, The Obamacare Survival Guide, at bookstores everywhere. Or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare311.com. Obamacare311.com. That's Obamacare311.com.
Do you have trouble remembering things you've known for years? Do you want to maintain your mental edge, support your memory, focus, and attention? After extensive research, Dr. Russell Blaylock discovered 4 essential nutrients that help sustain optimal brain function. Dr. Russell Blaylock then personally formulated Crescio, the dietary supplement containing these 4 brain boosters that promote brain cognitive health, improve learning and retention. Crescio supports brain circulation and provides antioxidant protection. And now you can receive a 30-day supply of Crescio. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Crescio.com/special. Act now and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, Nature's Brain Boosters, Essential Nutrients for Peak Mental Performance. Give your brain the healthy support it needs. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Crescio.com/special. That's Cresceo.com/special. Crescio.com/special.
If you are successful at what you do, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a business owner, or you have a great career, you understand the concept of protecting yourself. Well, are you protecting yourself, your family, and your assets with quality term life insurance? Consider these possible rates. A man age 45 non-tobacco user could obtain $1 million of coverage for as little as $75 a month, and this rate is fixed for the next 10 years. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. A man age 50 non-tobacco user may be able to obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $115 a month. And this rate is fixed for the next 20 years. We have great rates for smokers too. Call the Term Lifeline now. 800-430-1309, 800-430-1309, 800-430-1309.
Bad credit card debt happens to good people. Credit card companies lure you in with low introductory rates or low minimum payments, and before you know it, you owe thousands of dollars in credit card debt. It has happened to millions of good people just like you. But here's the good news. Thanks to a powerful program now approved, anyone with $2,000 or more in credit card debt can cut their credit card payments up to half and even reduce or eliminate interest charges altogether. That's right. Our nationwide nonprofit program is helping U.S. residents cut their credit card payments. Call 800-613-3159 now. The call and information are free. We've helped over 500,000 people with their credit card debt, and now we can help you. Call 800-613-3159 to see how this powerful nonprofit program can work for you. Bad credit card debt happens to good people. Get free of credit card debt today. Call 800-613-3159. That's 800-613-3159. Again, 800-613-3159.
The Steve Malzberg Show is just a bit different from the other radio shows. We have TV cameras. Watch the show at Newsmax.com or listen on your favorite radio station. Here's Steve Malzberg.
Ann Coulter writes in her new book about you. She says that Newt Gingrich, you are ripping off the Republican Party for your own self-aggrandizement. She lumps you with Liz Cheney, Todd Akin, and Mark Sanford as enemies of the GOP. How do you react?
Well, that's kind of weird. I helped lead us to the first Republican majority in the House in 40 years. I helped develop with Bill Clinton the only four balanced budgets in her lifetime. We helped pass welfare reform. I would have thought all those would have counted against the number of books she sold. But, you know, people got to go out and say something to sell books, and she's found her shtick, and it's attacking conservatives and being sort of the odd person out. So, you know, life's like that. I don't worry about it much.
All right, there you go. Newt Gingrich responding. Remember when Larry King asked Yasser Arafat, "Hey, Yasser, what about the hat? What's with the hat?" Anyway, welcoming in now Ann Coulter, best-selling author, of course, and her new book, Never Trust a Liberal Over Three, especially a Republican. Hello, Ann Coulter.
Hello, Steve Malzberg. That's quite an intro.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Good to talk to you.
By the way, I listened to you, and you're really terrific.
Thank you.
But for the clip you just played, I would not think, I wasn't you, it was someone else reading, or not reading it. Reading it would be more accurate. I don't think that is an accurate description of what I say about Newt Gingrich. I fully credit him for some of the great things he's done. It is specifically his running for president. And I was right. He was doing it to get a TV show. He got himself a TV show. My point is there are a lot of people in very different categories. The simple paradigm of Rhino versus like Tea Party doesn't really work. You have political consultants. You have people who are running for president to, you know, get increased speaking fees or to get a TV show or a radio show. The point is it's not helping the Republican Party to have these endlessly long primaries, endlessly long debates with people who are never going to be the nominee. And we have to face it. It's never going to be a member of Congress. It's never going to be an inspirational leader. It's never going to be a businessman. And I've made this mistake myself. And at various times I've been for, Herman Cain, Steve Forbes, various others who weren't, Duncan Hunter, who weren't going to be the nominee. I've learned my lesson, and we really need to send in a strong candidate to beat Hillary or Joe Biden or whomever it is. So,
all right, well, okay, fair enough. So Larry King misrepresented what he said to Newt.
Oh, was that Larry King?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
I don't
funny.
even know what it was on. It had Crossfire in the background, which means I guess it was Newt's background, but I don't even know what show Larry King does, to be honest with you. I was hoping for a rerun, like I said, of the Yasser Arafat interview with the hat question. It's like asking Hitler, what about the mustache? Hey, Hitler, what about the mustache? Anyway, all right, so wait a minute. So who – now, I heard you – I mean, you used to tout Chris Christie, but you don't like him anymore.
No, his directing his Senate appointee to vote for amnesty was it for me. I mean, that is not, I joke about being a single issue voter against amnesty, but as I've said, to clarify that, the only joke in that statement is it's not a single issue, it's every issue. Amnesty means Democrats get another 30 million votes. Presidential elections are usually decided by 3 or 4 million votes. And a lot you could defend Christie on because he is bright and charismatic, and he is a popular governor of a big blue state. But that isn't just one more vote. That shows, no, you're throwing your lot in with the Republican plutocrats, with Wall Street, against the American people, and against the Republican Party.
Here's another one. I live in Jersey, and he just recently at the debate did an about-face, although he claims that he used to be against discounted tuition for illegals or children of illegals in New Jersey.
Yeah.
He said it at the Reagan Library. He was questioned about that, and now all of a sudden he's for it. And he says, I was never against it. Now New Jersey basically has so much revenue coming in, he says, that we could afford it. Now, I live in New Jersey, and if this guy wants, if we got so much revenue, cut my property taxes. He is out of control. He really is.
No, it's really disappointing, but frankly, I think I was the last right-winger defending him.
I know you were.
Now that he's lost me, I don't think he has. I mean, he'll win re-election, and great. You know, New Jersey is a very liberal state. He may be the best New Jersey can do, but I don't think he has. We'll see. Don't think he has. He'll definitely have Wall Street behind him. Don't think he'll have much of a chance. I have a chapter in my book on immigration.
Right, I know.
There is nothing. There's no issue I've ever seen where the elites on one side and the American people on the other side. Remember when, this is how I start that chapter, when Hillary was caught flat-footed. Eliot Spitzer wanted to give driver's licenses to illegals. And so I go through the whole hoo-ha on that. Hillary, in the debate, she's in a debate with Obama and Biden, and she comes out on both sides of Spitzer on the driver's licenses for illegals. After the debate, she issues a clarification, which she refused to give during the debate, saying, I am for driver's licenses for illegals. 2 weeks later, something like 90% of New Yorkers polled were against it. All elected Democrats in New York were coming out against it. So 2 weeks, she flipped again. Guess who the first public official, or one of the first public officials to promote driver's licenses for illegals was? Jeb Bush. And that was after 4 of the pilots on 9/11 had used fake Florida. Well,
could you explain to me, and we're talking to Ann Coulter, her new bestseller is Never Trust a Liberal Over 3, especially a Republican. Why are there so many? And I assume that's kind of a way of saying rhino. But so why are there so many in the Republican Party? In the Senate, in the House, we're hearing about Paul Ryan, room deals. What don't they understand that, A, people in this country don't have a job right now? And when you bring in high tech and low tech, that means fewer jobs will be available. And B, as you alluded to, 30 million people and 95% to 100 are going to vote Democrat the rest of their lives. So what is it about that they don't understand?
I think it's cowardice all around. It's hard to be a conservative in America, especially if you don't like being attacked, which luckily you and I don't mind. But a lot of people don't like that. And you better not have any skeletons in the closet if you're going to be a right-winger. Though I must say, I think I'm seeing some of the same thing, which is why I'm so against primarying our own guys, not until we have a majority in the Senate. And I will make one small exception in the upcoming elections for Lindsey Graham if we have a good candidate to run against him. But by and large, we should not be wasting our time pointing our guns inward, whether we're pointing them at rhinos or we're pointing them at Tea Partiers, and we see both sides doing that. First, let's get a majority. Then we can work on purifying the party, because right now we have important Senate elections coming up where Republicans can flip a Democrat seat to a Republican seat. Mary Landrieu in Louisiana, Mark Pryor in Arkansas, Jay Rockefeller is resigning in West Virginia, Mark Begich in Alaska. These are all conservative states. They're heavily trending red. We should be able to pick up seats there, and I want Republicans, conservatives, Tea Partiers, dedicating their time, money, and energy to winning Republican seats in the Senate. Think how differently this shutdown would have looked if we had a majority.
Absolutely. But so let me ask you something you started with, and I didn't want to ask you right away, but who, in your view, Ann Coulter, are or is the Republican or are the Republicans that you would like to see in the primary, limited, as you alluded to, that we should be able to, or that we should have a choice between?
Well, I think we have a lot of great Republicans. I don't have a number one favorite right now. I want to see them in the debates. My main.
But how many? See, that's the problem. They'll all be in the debates, and then you were back to where you said you don't want us to be. Yeah.
No, I have a way of limiting it. My main point right now is please do not consider anyone other than a governor, a Republican governor or senator from a state that's at least in the top 50 in terms of population. Another mistake I made, I supported
the top 50.
sorry, the top. I'm thinking of the Senate.
What are you,
races,
Barack
because
Obama,
really,
all 57 states? Come on.
I'm fixated on the Senate elections next year,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking 100. We have to be
Right.
in the top 50%
Okay.
population-wise. I supported Pete DuPont, but that's the equivalent of support for president back a million years ago. I was in college.
You might as well support Pat Paulson.
No, he's great. He was articulate. He was fantastic. But it's the equivalent of supporting a member of Congress. We need someone who has been elected statewide in a relatively large state. And
All right, so give me a couple of names. Give me 4 names, 3 names
of the governors
of who you would like to see, senators, governors, whoever.
I know. I'm listing them. I'm starting with the governors.
Okay.
Governors: Rick Snyder of Michigan, Rick Scott of Florida. Possibly Scott Walker of Wisconsin. Of the senators, obviously Ted Cruz, Mike Lee. I throw in Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. I'm probably forgetting a few of them, but those are
Rand Paul?
No.
No. Okay, let me ask you, we only got a couple of minutes
He's
left.
very short, and I'm sorry we have to think about that.
Oh, stop it. All right, here's one more question for you. Cory Booker is your favorite Democrat?
It's funny. He's going to be overtaken now that he's in the Senate. He won't be. He won't last. But by all accounts, and much more has come out about him since he ran for Senate. But I wrote about this in the last chapter of my last book, Mugged, and he was taking, by all accounts in the press, and that's all I have to go through. I'm not living in Newark. He was taking a Rudy Giuliani approach to crime. He talks tough on crime. He talks tough on school choice. But, as happens with a lot of Democrats, they're good when they're mayors, or better when they're sometimes mayors and senators, and they actually have to run something well.
Right.
They get, or governors, they get to the U.S. Senate, and suddenly they're jumping when Chuck Schumer says jump.
You wouldn't want to make a proposal to him over the air or anything, would you?
To whom?
To Cory Booker. I'm trying
Cory
to make news.
Booker?
Yeah, you said favorite Democrat.
That's not saying much. My second favorite is Alvin Green.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, at least you cleared it up because he makes up. Apparently, they're not even sure he lived in Newark or in New Jersey.
No, I saw
all that. Yeah, Lonigan did a good job. Yeah,
great. That's something else I think we should be a little testy with Christie about. If Christie had kept the election when he's going to be elected by 30 points, Lonigan would have won.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you're going to be at David Horowitz's weekend?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'll see you.
I'm doing tomorrow.
Hurry up, quick. What?
I'm doing The View tomorrow.
Oh, good. All right, watch Ann on The View. I'll see you down in Florida for that. Maybe we could do an interview.
Okay, that sounds
All right,
great.
take care. Ann Coulter, ladies and gentlemen. The book, Never Trust a Liberal Over 3, especially a Republican. Steve Malzberg Show.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Attention anyone with diabetes or prediabetes. A special website has been created just for you at the free website 99reverse.com. We reveal the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. People who have followed this plan, exactly as found at 99reverse.com, have not only normalized their blood sugar, but stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's astounded approval. Now you can take this natural, safe, and drug-free approach to reversing diabetes. You won't get this advice anywhere else. At 99reverse.com, we reveal 3 common doctor recommendations about diabetes and why they are horribly wrong. Plus, you get 3 specific actions to take right now today that get your blood sugar under control in 4 weeks or less. Go right now to 99reverse.com. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? Visit 99reverse.com and find out now while this revolutionary video is still available online for free. People who have followed this plan have not only normalized their blood sugar, but stopped taking their diabetes medication. That's 99reverse.com. 99reverse.com.
Do you have a motorized wheelchair or scooter that needs repairs and you don't know where to turn? Then, do you have a motorized wheelchair or scooter that needs repairs and you don't know where to turn? Then, Motorized Wheelchairs and Scooters. You can call 24/7 and they will come to you anywhere in the United States. They'll give you a loaner to use until they return yours in perfect condition. And your repairs may be covered by your Medicare or your private insurance, so there is little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. If your wheelchair or scooter needs repairs, call this special hotline now and learn how you can get door-to-door service on your repairs at little or no cost to you. Precision Repair Network. They'll get you moving again. Operators are ready to take your call right now. 800-978-4813. 800-978-4813. 800-978-4813. That's 800-978-4813.
Hello and welcome to your Newsmax Now update. I'm Kathleen Walter. President Obama will host a healthcare event at the White House today to highlight some of the successes of the Affordable Care Act. However, even the White House acknowledges computer glitches have caused problems for people trying to shop for health insurance on the government website. Opponents say the rough start is proof that Obamacare won't work.
Well, I certainly agree with Senator Cruz that Obamacare is indeed a train wreck. I mean, a visit to the website is kind of like a trip to the Department of Motor Vehicles in your state. People can't, even if they can access the website, there's no way to get quotes. Even those who may be fortunate enough to sign up are going to find that the premiums are higher and the choices are fewer.
Administration officials say the website problems will be fixed, and they project millions will now get coverage that were previously denied. Republicans McCain, Rubio, and Cruz are blasting Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius for the glitches crippling the Obamacare rollout. They said she will eventually have to testify before Congress over her agency's design and failed launch of the website.
Do you think that somebody here needs to take the fall, that Kathleen Sebelius, as some have suggested, ought to resign?
Well, let's have congressional hearings. Let's find out who's responsible for this fiasco and then take the appropriate action, in my view. But look, this is just the beginning of the problems associated with a massive restructuring of 1/5 of our economy. And there's going to be a whole lot more problems associated with this before it's done.
Several reports have estimated that the website cost over $200 million and is still in a process where it's still not complete. Gay couples exchanged vows in early morning ceremonies in several New Jersey communities. The state began recognizing their marriages at 12:01 this morning. The New Jersey Supreme Court last week refused to delay a lower court order for the state to start recognizing the marriages. New Jersey is the 14th state to recognize same-sex marriage. Florida police are questioning 2 convicted murderers who used forged documents to escape from prison. Joseph Jenkins and Charles Walker are back behind bars. This after the Bay County Sheriff's Office says the duo used fake court documents to secure their release from prison. Authorities want to know who forged the documents for them and who helped them while they were on the run. Coming up, office politics. We all have to deal with it, but do you have to play, and how do you win? Political scientist Jack Godwin shares tips for survival in a Newsmax exclusive coming up. And it's a pumpkin carving contest like no other, 5 miles offshore and 30 feet below. We'll explain after this.
Attention hip implant patients. Are you in constant pain? Have you received a letter from your doctor about your implant? Have you had or need a revision surgery? Do you have high levels of metal, chromium, or cobalt in your blood? Over 90,000 hip implant devices have been recalled due to defects and failures resulting in revision or replacement surgery. If you have a recalled hip implant, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-460-0920 to see if your implant is affected by the recalls. If you or a loved one has a defective or recalled hip implant, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-460-0920. That's 800-460-0920. Protect your legal rights today. Call 800-460-0920. This is an advertisement, not valid in all states. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. iLawsuit.com is an advertising group that represents lawyers advertising their services and is a free matching service for consumers. It is not a law firm or lawyer referral service.
Wow, you look great. Thanks. I've lost some weight. What's your secret weapon? Actually, I do in fact have one. Really?
If you're looking for help in your weight loss efforts, remember this name, Metabio. It just may be the edge you've been looking for. Metabio is the nutritional weight loss breakthrough power-packed with 5 high-quality ingredients. Metabio supports healthy metabolism and promotes fat loss. It helps maintain your optimal weight and wellness when used as part of a healthy lifestyle. Now you can receive a 30-day supply of Metabio. Simply cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit thematavio.com/offer for complete details. Act now and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Practical Guide to Healthy Weight Management. Learn how you can try Matavio for 30 days at thematavio.com/offer. That's the METABIO.com/offer. Hurry, only while supplies last at thematavio.com/offer.
And welcome back. Anyone can succeed at office politics by knowing when to fight, when not to fight, and when to lead. That's according to author and political scientist Dr. Jack Godwin.
There's politics in any kind of an organization, universities, private sector, and of course the government. The idea is to get good at it, to defend yourself, not to set traps or play dirty tricks on your coworkers, but to know what's happening to you so you can make the organization a better place.
Consider it a sign of fall in South Florida. 30 scuba divers dove 30 feet to see bottom this weekend to take part in the annual underwater pumpkin carving contest about 5 miles off Key Largo. Working against the pumpkin's natural buoyancy, they paired classic, fun-loving facial features on the gourds. Stay with Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter, and this has been your Newsmax Now update for October 21st.
5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Action by calling toll-free 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. It's hour number 3, and I am so thrilled to welcome in our next guest, who I had the pleasure of meeting, not that he would remember in a million years, down at the Republican convention in 2008 in Minneapolis. We welcome in the former Majority Leader of the House of Representatives. 2008 in Minneapolis. We welcome in the former Majority Leader of the House of Representatives.
How are you doing?
Good to talk to you. Thanks for coming on. I got to tell you, the second I saw you on CNN, I said, we got to get him, because I wanted to just jump for joy, and I wanted to burst through the screen and pat you on the back and shake your hand and say, you go get him, because you didn't take any of the nonsense. You answered them back. You called it what it was. You gave your opinion on Obama, and they were like ready to pass out, like the woman, unfortunately, at the Rose Garden with the president today. They couldn't believe you were saying what you were saying, and I think Republicans really need to do more of that.
Oh, let me tell you, they certainly do. I don't know where the Republicans lost their will to fight. And fighting isn't necessarily trying to get along with someone. Obviously, you want to, but in this case, you can't get along with someone. Obviously, you want to, but in this case, you can't. They're trying to push him back and cut his head off, and you've got to just stand your ground and fight. No retreat, no surrender.
No, and especially when you're dealing with, and I do want you to talk about this as you have. Now we're a week removed, and of course, poll after poll, look at the Republicans, they're dead, they're in trouble, the Tea Party, blah, 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 blah. The fact of the matter is, and I wish the Republicans would have, articulated this while it was going on, and especially when it was over. How's this, Congressman, if John Boehner and Mitch McConnell, instead of one saying we did our best and we lost, and the other saying, oh, we'll never shut down the government again, how about they came together and said, look, we gave in, but we gave in to save the American people, because for the first time ever, we had a president who, over a little tiny thing like delaying a mandate for a year, when 70 senators want that, was willing to not shut down the government, keep it shut, and take us into a place we've never been before, causing economic harm and hardship for every American. Why couldn't they have said, yeah, we gave in, but that's why we gave in? Instead, we lost, we gave our best. I don't get it.
Well, they surrendered before they even got started. I was very proud of the House passing that continuing resolution with defunding Obamacare on it. But if you're going to fight this fight, you got to fight it to win, and that's frankly what Obama did. The national media just doesn't seem to understand that Obama did the same thing that the Republicans did. He's the one that shut down the government because he wouldn't pass a bill or agree to sign a bill that keeps the government open and negotiate with the Republicans. He said early on, months ago, that he was not going to negotiate, that he was going to hold his ground, and he didn't care if the government shut down or not. He was going to get his way. He held firm, and he wins.
Yeah, and
that ought to be the lesson here that people understand. If the Republicans had, who knows what would happen? I think the Republicans would have won, and winning means forcing Obama and the Senate Democrats to a negotiating table. For instance, all the Republicans had to do is pass the CR with defunding Obamacare and sit there and wait for the Senate to come to the conference committee, which means you get into a room and you start negotiating. But they refused to come in. That would have carried across this nation. It started to. That's why they started to talk a little bit, but they didn't negotiate in good faith.
Yeah, Congressman, not only that, imagine for the better part of 2 weeks after the House had passed. Yeah, Congressman, not only that, imagine for the better part of 2 weeks after the House had passed to health so kids with cancer could get special treatment, another veterans benefits, another letting Washington, D.C. operate with their own money, another opening the parks and monuments, and they just let that all lie there. And you never even heard about that from the media. They never got criticized for it. And Obama said even if it passed, he wouldn't sign it. That is unheard of, especially when it comes to the kids and our veterans.
Well, the reason that the American people didn't hear about it is the Republicans didn't stand strong for a long enough time to get the message out. When the heat, I mean, it was getting, what I was noticing sitting out here in reality land was that it was starting to have an effect. The poll numbers for Obama as well as the Democrats were going down. The people were starting to understand that Obama and the Democrats wouldn't negotiate. They were starting to understand that the House had done their job, passing all these bills to open up critical parts of the government, and it was starting to have effect. It reminded me of the close down in '95. We were closed down for 21 days. And Bob Dole just couldn't stand it anymore, so he goes out on a Sunday afternoon and opens the government. In Bill Clinton's book, he says that if we'd have held out one more day, he would have caved. And as it turned out, us holding our ground for 21 days, he caved anyway.
Right.
Because we got the spending cuts that we wanted. All we had to do is give him some face-saving spending, and we got what we wanted.
We're talking to Tom DeLay, the former House Majority Leader, Congressman from the great state of Texas, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. But you know, you've seen now Barack Obama in action. Now we're going to run into this possibly again in a few months down the road. If your plotting strategy, if you were in the House, if you were the Speaker or had his ear, what would you suggest to him, and what would you suggest to Mitch McConnell in the Senate?
Well, first of all, they need to do what they should have done back in December of last year, knowing that this day was coming. And that is to build your army, build a body of thought out there in the real world, let people know where you were headed, and thereby gaining support so that the members of the House and the Senate would come together as a full-fledged army. They've got a shorter period of time now, but that's my suggestion, is that you now have 87 members of the House, and I don't know how many, 37 members, I think, of the Senate, that caved in. And the first thing I would be doing is in every one of their districts, in every one of their states, I would activate the political activists in those districts and states to let those people know that they need to stand strong and they need to represent their constituents, and they need to be going after Obamacare as the issue, spending as the secondary issue, and you want them to stand strong and see in the next month or two, see if that has an effect. Because when it comes time to fight this fight in January and February, You better have an army to fight with, or you're going to look even more foolish.
And you believe that John Boehner is the man to orchestrate your plan if he were to, I mean, he'd be on board with that?
I don't know. I'm not in the business of criticizing John Boehner. I know how big and tough his job is. It's sort of like herding cats. But you need a strategy, and you need to implement that strategy and have the will to break the will of your opponents.
And one more, Congressman.
And you need to implement that strategy and have the will to break the will of your.
He'd just as soon see us, risk default. He doesn't, in my view, I don't think he cares.
Well, first of all, the Republicans need to convince the American people that
risk default. He doesn't, in my view, I don't think he cares.
Well, first of all, and people need to understand that, because I saw many Republicans get up on television and say, "Oh, we can't risk a default." That nothing could be further from
right. We have enough money coming in to pay our interest on the debt and to pay Social Security. All we got to do is prioritize.
It's exactly right, and it's like reaching the limit on your credit card. You got to go back in and reprioritize your spending so that you have enough money to start paying down that debt and bringing that ceiling down. I mean, where is the plan to bring the debt ceiling down? Why is it just we all have to automatically raise the debt ceiling?
Yeah.
The debt ceiling and the system and procedures that are put into place right now is for this very reason, so that the Congress, who has the power of the purse, and I'm afraid the House has lost that power of the purse unless they start fighting again, they have the power of the purse, which means that they can say no. And the world will not come to an end if the government doesn't open and the debt ceiling isn't raised. I guarantee you that.
No, I agree with you.
I don't care what people say.
But
and the debt ceiling isn't raised. I guarantee you that.
No, I agree with you.
I don't care what people say.
But the willingness to negotiate, because he just doesn't care if we reached it, and it would be perceived as the great disaster, and the media would present it, and the public relations would be against Republicans. So do you see a difference in him from his predecessors in that respect?
Only in the fact that he knows the Republicans will give in. They have in every one of these fights.
Yeah.
The only time they won anything was the sequester, and they did a great job on that and making that happen. But they did it by putting pressure on Obama and not letting him up. He in every other fight, he has gotten basically what he wants it, and so now he. So the frame of mind that all I have to do is hold out and they'll cave. When the shutdown 95 came, the biggest win of that shutdown was we broke the will of Clinton. He knew that we were taken to the brink, and that forced him later on to give us because I mean, just take welfare reform. We sent him welfare reform twice. He vetoed it twice. We sent it the third time, and he signed it. Welfare reform. We sent him welfare reform twice. He vetoed it twice. We sent it the third time, and he signed it. The 6 years we were in control that he initiated, everything that was passed and signed into law was initiated through the power of the purse coming out of the House of Representatives.
Yep, the way it should be. Congressman,
That's right.
I really enjoyed talking to you. I hope you'll come back in the future, sir.
Anytime.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Right,
Congressman Tom DeLay, former House Majority Leader from 03 to 05, and, of course, Congressman for the 22nd District of Texas. Interesting strategy. I just don't think the Republicans have it in them. I just don't, and it's a shame. Coming back, want to weigh in, have it in them. I just don't, and it's a shame. Coming back. Want to weigh in if I'm reading it correctly, and I am, on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Attention seniors and baby boomers. A new website has been created just for you. SocialSecurity311.com. At SocialSecurity311.com, we reveal a weird trick that could help you add $152,000 to your Social Security payouts. For example, did you know how you file for Social Security can dramatically change the amount of money you collect? One simple step could add up to $1,000 to your monthly payouts. And other loopholes we found reveal 33 ways for big savings on your health care. At SocialSecurity311.com, you will also discover how you could save up to 50% on your groceries, along with 49 other ways to save as much as $50,000 starting today. Newsmax says this website is other ways to save as much as $50,000 starting today. Newsmax says this website is find out how you could add extra money to your Social Security checks. That's SocialSecurity311.com. SocialSecurity311.com.
Newsmax Magazine is proud to present a special tribute to our 40th president, Ronald Reagan. It's a very special documentary and commemorative issue of Newsmax Magazine celebrating the centennial of President Reagan's birth. First, here's a video clip from the award-winning documentary, Rendezvous with Destiny.
We're in the midst of a springtime of hope for America.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Impulses of an evil empire.
Tear down this wall.
I believe that together we can keep this rendezvous with destiny.
In the next several minutes, you will learn things about President Ronald Reagan that you've never seen, heard, or read before. Welcome to today's special Newsmax event celebrating the life and legacy of President Reagan. During this historic presentation, we will commemorate President Reagan's storied life. We'll revisit his 2 terms in office and recollect his proudest achievements and greatest challenges. Ronald Reagan's life reads like a fairy tale of success stories. He was an accomplished athlete, an honored veteran, a famous actor, the governor of California, and of course, our nation's 40th president.
He called himself a citizen politician and only entered politics when he warned government was gaining too much power. By then he was age 54, with a successful career behind him. Twice elected President of the United States, Ronald Wilson Reagan was a contradiction to some. Once a Democrat, then a Republican. A champion of smaller was a contradiction to some. Once a Democrat, then a Republican. A champion of smaller. His critics mistook his affability for weakness, but behind the smile and the charm existed an extraordinary leader with unique skills and bold and revolutionary ideas.
We only had time to share just a few of the top defining moments in Ronald Reagan's presidency, but you'll get to see them all in Rendezvous with Destiny. By the way, the president's close relationship with the Pope is especially fascinating. You'll also learn how dealing with an alcoholic father helped shape Reagan's ability to negotiate. And if you ever wondered what the leader of the free world likes to get for the holidays, well, you'll find that out as well. So let's review today in this free offer. We are sending you a copy of Ronald Reagan, Rendezvous with Destiny, and the collector's limited edition of our issue commemorating the 100th anniversary of President Reagan's birth.
Right now, when you subscribe to Newsmax Magazine, you can own both the DVD and receive the special Reagan 100th Birthday Commemorative Edition. That's $25 in bonus gifts when you subscribe. Go to Newsmax.com/Reagan13 to subscribe today. Join the millions who read Newsmax Magazine every month.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll-free at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Still ahead, we're going to speak to Ben Smith at the bottom of the hour, just a few minutes. Former U.S. Navy SEAL. He was at the World War II memorial protest in D.C. a couple of weeks ago during the government shutdown, you might recall. And he was on Fox News the other day talking about how he believes our government's preparing for martial law. So I want to talk to him about that. I want to also... you know what really bothers me? I'm just sorry. it really bothers me that, you know, it really bothers me. I'm just sorry. It really bothers me that Sheila Jackson Lee, I believe, and she said that, you know, that we could pass a law like that. It's called on the floor of the House. It's called martial law. And I'm thinking, martial law. Now we played it for you, and I said, why would she have martial law on her brain? And how could she possibly say it and call it, you know, we could pass a bill in the House very quickly. It's called martial law. And the only thing that's call it, you know, we could pass a bill in the House very quickly. It's called martial law. And the only thing that's director, God forbid. And I'm thinking, did she have an interview with Obama or someone and they said the words to her, martial law? And it was in her head and she repeated it? Or it slipped out in another, you know, by accident, a Freudian slip of sorts. I don't know, but it's frightening. It's frightening. So anyway, we will talk to him about that. Let me ask you a question. Look, I know mothers instinctively, that means by nature and everything else, and it's the right thing to do. Fathers too, but mothers especially, you know, will do anything to protect their baby, do anything to protect their newborn, right? Well, I don't understand. I know that they say breastfeeding is better than non-breastfeeding, and babies who are breastfed, you know, have blah blah whatever the studies say. But folks, could you imagine? And I know mothers do it because of the story I'm going to tell you. Ordering mother's breast milk online and getting it and then giving it to your baby? I can't fathom that. I just can't. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's a common thing, and maybe it's as safe as could be, just like anything else you buy online, which isn't always that safe sometimes. But now they're saying that human breast milk sold for babies on several online sites for a few dollars an ounce. A new study says buyer beware. Testing showed it can contain potentially dangerous bacteria, including salmonella. The warning comes from the researchers who bought and tested 101 breast milk samples sold by women on these popular online sites. 3/4 of the samples contained high amounts of bacteria that could potentially sicken babies. They did not identify the websites. Now, the results, pretty scary, according to Dr. Kenneth Boyer, pediatrics chief at Rush University Medical Center in Chicago. He was not involved in the study. He said, just imagine if the donor happens to be a drug user. You don't know. Folks, you're taking a bodily fluid donated by a person who you know nothing about, and then you're feeding it to your baby? I can't. I know they're well-intentioned. Anybody who would do that is well-intentioned, but I got 2 words for you. 2 words. Wake up. Wake up. You got to be kidding me. So, you know, there's a warning out there now. You gotta be careful. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Not in a million years. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Okay, this will interest anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. And what I'm about to tell you is pretty controversial, so you want to definitely consult your doctor first. But if diabetes concerns you, there's a toll-free number you need to call, 855-500-DIABETES. At that number, they reveal what they call the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. Now, what they say is people who have followed this plan exactly as they will explain it to you have not only normalized their blood sugar, but stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's approval, of course. You get 3 specific actions to take right now, today, to get your blood sugar level under control in 4 weeks or less. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? 855-500-DIABETES and find out now. Check with your doctor, of course, because I'm not giving you medical advice here. But if you have diabetes or are worried about your blood sugar, I think you should call 855-500-DIABETES. 855-500-DIABETES.
Do you suffer from joint discomfort? Contrary to what the experts may say, achy joints do not have to be a normal part of aging. Holistic doctor David Brownstein challenged conventional thinking to focus on natural solutions for joint health. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Limbex, the premium nutritional supplement specifically formulated to support healthy joints and connective tissue. It's a new joint breakthrough formula containing 11 hand-picked nutrients. Learn more at limbexjoint.com/special and take the 30-day Healthy Joint Challenge. That's a 30-day supply of the Limbex Joint Supplement. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Happy, Healthy Joints at Any Age. You can do something about joint discomfort and flexibility. Learn how you can try it for 30 days at limbexjoint.com/special. That's LIMBEX joint.com/special. limbexjoint.com/special.
150 million people suffer from headaches. All you want is for the pounding in your head to stop. Migralex stops the pounding. Migralex was developed by a neurologist and founder of the New York Headache Center.
I'm neurologist Dr. Alex Malzberg. After studying and researching the human brain for 25 years, I've developed Migralex, which eliminates pounding headaches. It works for my patients, and I'm so convinced it will work for you. I don't just guarantee it, I put my name on it.
Dr. Malzberg's Migralex gets rid of headaches fast without harsh caffeine, sodium, or preservatives.
Migralex works unbelievably fast, and it's gentle on my stomach.
Find out how to get your free bottle of Migralex. Call 800-532-2967. Plus, if you're one of the first 100 callers, you'll also receive the Migralex Quick Tips to Headache Relief absolutely free. That's 800-532-2967. Or go to migralexrelief.com. MIGRALEX relief.com. Or call 800-532-2967.
Here's today's silver shortage update from Lear Capital.
Reports keep coming, the shortage is growing. Twice already this year, the U.S. Mint has run out. Last time this happened, the silver price jumped 40%. It's time to take advantage with this special offer from Lear Capital.
For a limited time, buy 20 new silver polar bear coins and get one free. The only 1.5 ounce coin on the market. It's minted with the finest silver, carries a government guarantee, and is eligible for IRAs. The silver polar bear is available exclusively from Lear Capital. But don't wait. Silver supplies are shrinking and availability is not guaranteed. This offer is limited to a minimum purchase of $5,000. Call right now. 800-634-0482. 800-634-0482. Call Lear Capital now. 800-634-0482.
Microphones hot. Satellite link established. Studio lights illuminated. Cameras rolling. Audio and video encoders firing ones and zeros. Internet stream, streaming. The most technology advanced radio show is on the air. Here's the captain of this enterprise, Steve Malzberg.
I am the captain of this enterprise. You just heard the guy say it. That's how I know. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Joining us now is former U.S. Navy SEAL. He, as I mentioned, was at the World War II memorial protest in D.C. About a week and a half. He, as I mentioned, was at the World War II memorial protest in D.C. About a week and a half. Now, please, if you call me Mr. Malzberg, I have to call you Mr. Benjamin.
You said you were the captain.
Okay. Well, then it should be Captain Malzberg, I guess, theoretically. No. Anyways, please call me Steve. Well, good to talk to you. And you know, I always say this. Thank you for your service, and I mean it. I don't just say it. I mean it. And my son, who's 14, believe it or not, wants to be a Navy SEAL. I don't know if he has it in him, but that's what he says he wants to do. Now. Let me ask you something, because I heard you on Fox, and right away I said, let's get him. And this to me, I don't know, why do you think, or tell us what you said, first of all, about martial law and this government?
That was an interesting question. It was I wasn't really expecting it. And, you know, when he was asking me that, you know, like right before the show, he goes, like, you know, we're going to ask you about, you know, government trying to impose martial law. Like, you know what I mean? It's
And who was this again?
This was the interview with Hemmer and
right. Yeah.
It took a quick. This was the interview with Hemmer and
Yeah.
It took a quick. It was like pre-interview stuff, but then they went on that, so it was organic and just straight out, kind of towards. You know, when you talk about martial law, it's coming from a lot of aspects where people look at it as conspiratorial. They're the crazy wackos on the fringe. But what I had Sheila Jackson Lee.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. Let me just say it first. Sheila Jackson Lee. I just talked about it before we had you on. We played the soundbite last week. There she is on the floor of the House talking about the shutdown and saying we could pass bills very quickly because we have something here called martial law. And saying we could pass bills very quickly because we have something here called martial law. And if she was talked about as possibly, now I don't know if you put two and two together like I'm doing here. She was talked about being possibly the head of Homeland Security. And I'm thinking, who did she interview with, if she interviewed? What did they tell her? Did she have that on the brain? And did that slip out based on a conversation she had either with the president or with somebody further down the chain?
Yes. Also, look at Janet Napolitano in the 2009 extremism evaluation of military members possibly being, terrorists, right-wing organizations,
right,
and patriot groups. I mean, this isn't something that is not talked about up there. You've got a president who is versed in something that is not talked about up there. You've got a president who is versed in, and there's, this isn't something that isn't talked about up there. So Sheila Jackson Lee, with what she said, understanding of what martial law is the suspension of the Constitution, and that right there is everything that all is the suspension of the Constitution, and that right there is everything that all overseas. And to be at the World War II Memorial and to speak to these issues, the only time in any of the shutdowns where the memorials were shut down and veterans were to be kept out.
Right.
This. They're trying to silence us, and veterans were to be kept out.
Right.
This, they're trying to silence us. World War II Memorial and the significance of the moment. I'm standing there in front of veterans from World War II, the greatest generation, in their 90s. They're a dying breed. And you got Korea vets. You've got Vietnam in their 90s. They're a dying breed. And you got Korea vets, you've got Vietnam War, and then you've got the vets from, the wars in the Middle East. And to stand in front of them and to talk with them about what's on their minds, what I'm saying is not fringy. What I'm saying is very tame. Like, the veterans of this country see what's going on. They see the news. They've been around the world. They understand kind of how governments around the world have fallen, and they've become adversarial to their people. And they're seeing it now with our country and what's going on. And to sit there at this moment in time talking about a constitution at the World War II Memorial, it is absolutely so inspiring to be in front of these guys, but to talk to that issue is absolutely scary that we're having this issue within our country and a conversation of this magnitude. So,
well, Ben, let me just reintroduce you. We're talking to Ben Smith, former U.S. Navy SEAL, who, as he mentioned, was at the World War II Memorial, and just recently during that shutdown of that whole horrific affair where they put the barricades up and tried to shut it down. And but let me ask you, in your wildest nightmares, how does this come about? I mean, what precipitates it?
Well, what precipitates...
Well, maybe wildest nightmares isn't an accurate question.
Well, what precipitates...
Well, maybe wildest nightmares isn't an accurate question. What precipitates it?
Well, the reality of being a soldier, of being someone out there with, you're on whatever front line, you got to boil things down real fast to,
But I mean, what does the government do? How would it happen in your view?
What, the shutdown?
If there was martial law, God forbid, like as you've talked about, as you fear, how do you fear it would manifest itself? How would it come about?
You want to look at 5 minutes after.
Well, what would be? Yeah, I mean, would we wait? In your view, would we wake up one day and wake up to it somehow, or would something happen? Would it be the power grid that goes out, and as a result of that, I mean, what do you see? Is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, those issues right there, and if you want to go into that, we got a few shows we got to sit down, because I'll play that game, and because we need to look at it as unemotional, as uncrazy as it should be.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to get to your, because it's something that you've talked about. So I thought
as it should be.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to get to your, because it's something that you've talked about. So I thought, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get to. Basically, with this situation and what's happening, it's not going to be all of a sudden we wake up, as you heard, Reagan say, wake up, we'll be socialists. No, what has to happen here, and what it seems like, and the general conversation is, they need a reason to discredit veterans, to discredit the Patriot movement, to make us look bad, like we're the fringies, and we're violent, and we're bad, and we must be done away with, and guns need to be taken from us. Convince the public or make us look bad enough so they can try to clamp down on us. But bad enough so they can try to clamp down on us. But the military is not allowed to operate or do anything within continental United States on sovereign American land. And that's to prevent, say, a Syrian states on sovereign American land. And that's to prevent, say, a Syrian. Yes, and it basically kind of was circumvented, like and it basically kind of was circumvented, like which kind of is an antithetical argument to posse comitatus. And these things have, which kind of is an antithetical argument to posse comitatus. And these things have, in the past few years, and the military people see this, and there's no voice being spoken in the media, and there's no voice being spoken in the media, and being leaders, because you've got the conservative movement, American movement, whatever you want to call it. I think Republicans and Democrats are kind of very much lost, and the veterans now aren't even going towards politics. I think it's like 15% are in politics or running the country, and their analytical skills, the military mindset, that needs to start being common discussion, because if things go sideways economically or in whatever way something happens, people come to the military guys first. What do we do now? I don't know where my next meal is. I don't know how to survive when ShopRite goes down. So
no, and that's of course, and I heard a whole speech from Congressman Trent Franks about our susceptibility to the power grid, to all kinds of attacks, magnetic attack that would just cripple us, possibly for many, many months or years, and it's very frightening. Hey, Ben, interesting conversation. I thank you for your service, and thanks for talking with us, sir.
Hey, let's talk more.
Okay, sounds good. Take care. Ben Smith, ladies and gentlemen, take care. Former U.S. Navy SEAL here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Okay, when we come back, another look at a close look, a very close look. Luke Chung, president and founder of FMS Software Solutions, will tell us why the Obamacare website is a disaster right here on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Hi, this is Dick Morris. Obamacare is taking full effect this year with over 15,000 pages of regulations. You need to know how this law affects you. That's why you should get your copy of Obamacare's Survival Guide. It's easy to read and the best guide to the new law. Even if you're currently insured or a senior on Medicare or a business owner, a medical professional, or really any citizen, you need the Obamacare Survival Guide. In it, you'll find about hidden taxes, fees, and fines, including a 40% tax on some health plans. I warned you about Obamacare. It's rationing, Medicare cuts, and will trigger doctor shortages. Now the Obamacare Survival Guide gives you the simple steps to protect your family.
Get the Obamacare Survival Guide at bookstores everywhere. It's already an Amazon bestseller. Or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 today. Go to Obamacare311.com. Obamacare311.com. That's Obamacare311.com.
Okay, this will interest anyone with diabetes or prediabetes. And what I'm about to tell you is pretty controversial, so you want to definitely consult your doctor first. But if diabetes concerns you, there's a toll-free number you need to call, 855-500-DIABETES. At that number, they reveal what they call the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. Now, what they say is people who have followed this plan exactly as they will explain it to you have not only normalized their blood sugar, but stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's approval, of course. You get 3 specific actions to take right now, today, to get your blood sugar level under control in 4 weeks or less. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? 855-500-DIABETES and find out now. Check with your doctor, of course, because I'm not giving you medical advice here. But if you have diabetes or are worried about your blood sugar, I think you should call 855-500-DIABETES. 855-500-DIABETES.
If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep. If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep. Fortunately, prominent medical doctor David Brownstein believes that aging prostate concerns are not inevitable. That's why Dr. Brownstein developed Prostate Revive, an advanced dietary supplement containing a unique blend of 15 ingredients designed to promote optimal prostate health. So men, as part of this new radio promotion, you now have the opportunity to claim your own 30-day supply of Prostate Revive, containing saw palmetto, beta-cytosterol, and numerous other prostate helpers. Just cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act now, you'll also get a doctor's guide to a healthy prostate as a bonus gift. Please visit prostaterevive.com/radio for details on getting your 30-day supply of Prostate Revive and free report. That's prostaterevive.com/radio. Do something about those annoying age-related prostate concerns. Visit prostaterevive.com/radio now while supplies last.
A hot new book by Craig Smith argues that the greenback is now at high risk thanks to our spendthrift politicians. Mark Twain said the truth is stranger than fiction. The same is true of the Great Debasement, which began a century ago with the creation of the Federal Reserve and income tax. The result, today's dollar retains just 2 cents of its original buying power. Yes, progressive politicians have engineered the largest wealth confiscation in history, creating in essence a fourth branch of government. Learn what must be done to preserve your money if the dollar crashes. The good news is Swiss America is offering the Great Debasement, a $20 value free of charge for this special radio offer.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. Free DVD. 800-818-3967.
Hi, this is Mike Reagan. You need to watch out because thousands of new Obamacare rules are currently being implemented, and few know what the law says or does. Listen to what Senator Max Baucus, one of the authors of the Obamacare law, recently said.
I tell you.
Senator Max Baucus, one of the authors of the Obamacare law, recently said.
I tell you, I just see a huge train wreck.
He's right. So protect yourself from this train wreck. Get the #1 bestseller, the Obamacare Survival Guide. Newsmax says it's the best guide to the new law. Join more than 500,000 Americans who have their copy.
Get the #1 bestseller, the Obamacare Survival Guide, at bookstores everywhere. Or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare311.com. Obamacare311.com. That's Obamacare311.com.
the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll-free at 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
When you see this as a software programmer, what does it say to you?
Amateur hour. It looks like it was created by someone who's never delivered commercial software before.
Luke Chung owns a software programming company in Virginia.
A user should never see this. This would barely make beta testing. All right?
One potential problem, the website demands users input their personal information before they even begin to window shop for insurance, something retail websites like Amazon.com don't do. Programming experts say a lot of work needs to be.
If they don't change management, this project is doomed, because we've already seen what the existing management considers ready for shipping, and it's not.
All right, there you go. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. That expert that you heard from in that report on NBC happens to be none other than Luke Chung, president and founder of FMS Software Solutions, who joins us now. Hello, Luke. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on your show.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for accommodating us with the time change. I appreciate that. The president today talked about. Thanks for accommodating us with the time change. I appreciate that. The president today talked about the level of incompetence, whether it was the president, whether it was Sebelius, whether it was someone in between, the level of incompetence that had to take place for this to be launched the way it was launched, and for the software to be the kind of software it is.
I don't think you have enough time to go through that, but I can tell you that. I don't think you have enough time to go through that, but I can tell you that a web page, right? I mean, that's supposed to be so many pay grades below those roles. Now, the CTO at HHS, who's responsible for this, certainly should be taken to the woodshed. But this is essentially a website to fill out a form and get insurance and a subsidy. This has nothing to do with getting health care or providing health care or even providing insurance. It's automating a paper form on a computer.
And that should be a piece of cake. Now, I know someone who told me their relative works in an IT, high up in the IT world at a big. Told me their relative works in an IT, high up in the IT world at a big in advance.
Yeah, well, there's always testing at the end because there's always
in advance.
Yeah, well, there's always testing at the end because there's always, but the overall design is just wrong, right? I mean, when I first said the overall design is just wrong, right? I mean, when I first started to critique the website, I just presumed it would work. I went on it and was just shocked by how poorly it was programmed, how poorly it was designed, and as a result, started to keep notes as if I were doing a quality assurance testing job. Notes as if I were doing a quality assurance testing job.
They hired a Canadian company, from what I understand. From what I understand, this Canadian company was let go from their responsibilities with the Canadian healthcare system because, from what I heard reported today at another place, it didn't go so well. It wasn't going so well. So we hired them. And what is it, $600 million?
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are. Canadian, I don't know. Are Canadians willing to do work Americans won't?
I guess this is one of the jobs Americans won't do, right? We need immigration. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, actually, it's a little bit finer than that. The Canadian company actually bought a company here in the Virginia area that probably did all the work. So just because the parent company's in Canada doesn't mean.
All right, now somebody told me though, and we're talking right now to Luke Chung, president and founder of FMS Software Solutions, that you. Well, let me ask you, what would it have cost you and your company to design this properly? And let me ask you, what would it have cost you and your company to design this properly? And
implications of what it is that they were trying to build. They were trying to build lots of different complex things I'm not that clear on. To me, it seems like we have a list of insurance policies that people can sign up for, and then we need to calculate the subsidies that people qualify for.
Right.
Right? And so I should be able to create something that gives you the policy without a subsidy very quickly, without having to ask for any personal information. That should just be a very simple process. That's like when you go to a e-commerce site like Best Buy or Staples or whatever, and you can line up all the different TVs that you want to choose from, or cell phones, and see a matrix and see the different features and pick one.
Right.
So that should be really simple. And then, when you go through that process, then you should say, oh, would you like to apply for a subsidy? Or would you like an estimate for what your subsidy would be? And then you could take them somewhere where they could fill in some information to estimate their subsidy with whatever they want to put in. Not personal information, not Social Security numbers, not
right, based on income, probably based on income dependence, that kind of thing, and based on that and what and the policy cost. Here's what your estimated subsidy would be. So, what do you think that should cost the government to get something like that up and running?
I'd be embarrassed for that to cost more than $1 million.
$1 million, and they spent about $600 million.
Who knows what they spent?
Well, that's what the report is. Yeah.
Right. The original number I saw was $200 million, which to me, if you break that down, $200 per hour would be 1 million man hours. Right? That's like 500 man years. I just don't see how they had time to even use that many hours. I don't know what these people would have been doing.
All right, Luke, let me ask you this also. There's a report that, and I don't know the proper terminology, and I feel stupid, that they may have to replace or redo 5 million somethings. I'm sure you've heard it too. If that's the case, if they have to replace 5 million codes or whatever the heck it is, how long before this is up and running, assuming that it's done correctly?
Yeah, I think that overall they have a bad design. So replacing code to make a bad design work, that's going in the wrong direction.
Oh, boy. Well, why don't they hire you, for crying out loud? I'm serious. I'm not kidding. All right. Well, I really appreciate your honesty and you coming on. And, they should throw you $1 million and say, do it, and then let's see where the chips fall. Because it can't be any worse, and I'm sure it wouldn't be. I'm sure it would be much, much better. Luke, thank you very much for your time, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. That's Luke Chung, president and founder of FMS, Frank, Mary, Steve, Software Solutions. $1 million. You heard what he said. Side by side to compare, like you do on Best Buy with the TVs, right? Compare the different policies, pick a policy, go to a page, input your information, requirements for subsidies, how much you make, whatever, and presto, here comes the estimated subsidy, $1 million to get it up and running. We paid over $500 million, and it don't wake, as they say in Brooklyn. It don't wake. Good job. Could I say thank you, Dr. Obama? I like saying that. I say that almost every show now. Thank you, Dr. Obama. Unbelievable. Oh, no. You could sign up on the phone. Yeah, the phone, that's the ticket. Or go in person. Go in person. Where am I going in person? To Washington, D.C.? Great show today, folks. Thanks for being there, for participating. We'll do it again tomorrow, God willing. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and Radio.